welcome to our next game of D&D, slightly delayed while catching up with things. We are up to session number 128 or 335 on this night. And that makes it Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 14 in the storyline, as they're up to the 22nd day of the 5th month of the 12th game. Right. Lots of numbers thrown in there to confuse people, I'm sure.
Of course.
Online today we have Jeremy.
Good evening all. Yes, I'm playing Blacknima, the Atruaghin tribesman who has risen through the ranks, having been blessed by Atruaghin and by the Great One, the Dragon God, to become clan chief of chiefs and also centre of the clans as he tries to guide the clans through the great evil of the sanctions of Mystara. Apparently now the reinstatement or the recovery of previously lost clans, and build them into a cohesive force so that they can take over the world.
Yes. I'm sure they just need a cunning plan.
Indeed.
And a steady guiding hand.
Does this mean that Drachnima's middle name is now Baldric?
I hope not.
What does the S stand for? Sort of.
Fair enough, really. None of my business anyway.
Sort of Baldric.
Next, today at the table we have Paul. And words seem to be having trouble out with me today.
Words are hard, as GM. Paul Demar, prince of one people, noble of another. Potentially never the twain shall meet, but we'll see how that goes. Diplomat, pretty boy, well dressed, party healer at the moment, and part-time artillery piece.
Does that mean when you're introduced as Cluel the well dressed?
Well, that'd be the Cluel the party boy.
I thought it'd be more Cluel the immaculately dressed for any occasion.
Yeah.
Well, there's that too. It depends what Lani decides to call. Because that's pretty well what it's got to come down to.
I don't know. I don't think you should leave it up to Lani. You might be called a lot of things you prefer not to.
Lani's not going to give me the chance or the choice.
Next at the table today we have his Grant.
Who's playing Father Pat, a crusty old soldier, who's the proud owner of a new, well, potentially new, replacement leg. Yet to work out what it will do, but it's got to be an improvement on that old wooden peg leg.
Yes. But not quite as good as the cat leg.
We don't know that yet, because we never actually really tested out the abilities of the cat leg.
I was going to say, hopefully you'll own it longer than you did
the cat leg,
the
yes.
cat leg.
And anyways, Father Pat's probably the antithesis of the pretty boy over there, because he is neither pretty, nor particularly immaculately well dressed, although his armour and weapons are always of immaculate condition.
Mm-hmm. And next up we have his Ariadna.
I am fire! Once I do the heist on an island and steal the fire jewel and activate it. Wait a minute, wrong dragon.
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Calcrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings. Also, slightly black spotted, a little bit of blue. That red scale is not a fire scale, it's a jewel.
Just ask her.
And none of the scales are anything for you to be concerned about.
And all the writing all over the scale as well, that was just for kids.
Yeah, no, that just shows the writing on my scales just shows I'm kid friendly. And have my certificate 3 in childcare.
Do you have it working with vulnerable people's check though?
Well, no one said that she doesn't.
She's the right age to just be friends with them.
At 12, I believe.
Close enough.
I get paid about $10 an hour. And when I'm 14, I might be able to get paid 15. You know, I got grand goals. Accompanying me is my probably more mature, probably older, tiny companion Eep, who's a plant-looking like being. but is also happens to be in greys and blacks because she's a member of the Fey Dark. Accept her cookies freely. Do not accept anything else or ask for anything else.
And if the Fey creature starts to resemble you, you might start forgetting things.
Yes.
Talking about, even though there's new venom coming out.
Yes, we do.
What do you mean you start forgetting things? That's a new one. You haven't said that before.
What?
That's because you can't remember.
Carrick's just got the claw up right now going,
Are you sure you've forgotten that?
Exclamation please. What's this about the forgetting?
If Eep is taking your form, he's stealing you.
As far as I knew, if Eep took on your form, Eep had already eaten you and you were no longer around. So
It takes on the form of the thing it's eating at the time.
it's eating at the time.
Yes.
So the forgetting is a part of you no longer existing anymore because you are dying.
Or it might just be that Eepy's helping you with those unfortunate memories you don't want to remember.
Oh, so Eep can eat parts of your memory, say, your psychic spirit, without actually eating all of you?
Eep can.
So Eep could technically eat nightmares.
Well, Eep likes nightmares.
I'm presuming that.
Yes,
Well,
but
are you talking about the creature monster nightmare?
Both.
Or are you talking about the dream
the other one,
someone experiences?
The
I
other
don't
one-
think Eep can tell the difference between the two.
the other one is, does he like eating the nightmares or does he like giving them to you?
She
Well-
Yes.
probably likes both.
Well,
Based
it is
on-
not complex enough to actually want to inflict harm upon others,
Yeah, that's fair.
but doesn't understand that it can inflict harm upon others.
Yes.
Yes. Calcrix is in the first stages of learning its language. In case you missed it, some people have found out have. There's been a scene where Calcrix shows up colour flashcards and
Yep.
emojis and
Yes.
tries to match the colour ink is to the emotion that ink is feeling.
And I'm just waiting for the time that Calcrick steals Luell's bag for a time and gets it to translate.
Well,
I
actually,
could
that's
offer it services.
that's already on the cards.
I could offer the services. If
But
you ask, I'll
where's
do
the
it.
fun for Calcrick to ask?
Oh, Calcrix
Nice
always
music.
asks
Do-
with
do-
party
do-
members.
Well, Calcrix could ask and then not tell me when, and then do it at 3 a.m.
It's when
and
it's
forget that elves don't sleep.
when you're not a party member, that's when you've got to start worrying about Calcrick's name. Particularly if you threaten a party member, or that party member's village and family, and then you end up like that poor demon did who thought no harm could come to him and then found himself ripped through the plains and then digested by plant being. Why is there a power thing in my pocket?
Because you're just a bright spark.
If they've made this world, there is no sparks.
Right.
We hope it doesn't spark.
Yes. I have great hopes that it does not spark. Alright, you're going to get what you've been asking for the last hour and a bit. I'm going to actually sit down on the couch.
And yes, they have also learned that giving Eep complex instructions don't work too well.
Yes,
No.
yes.
He's
It
not.
does very simple things very well.
Alternatively, too simple instructions also does not go well.
And going for conditional statements.
Protect the party members at all costs means that everybody that might be perceived as possibly maybe in the future potentially could inflict even an ounce of harm then gets pulled from their home plane and wiped from existence. So you have to be very specific but also very simple. So Calcrix
Yes.
decided that she's just going to refresh her gnome legal teachings. Because they can do that.
And don't worry, I'm sure teaching a Fey Dark how to manipulate the law in its benefit won't go out badly.
Oh no, not teaching her how to manipulate the law.
She doesn't have the sophistication for that, at least not yet.
I'm hoping she doesn't, because if she does, we're in trouble.
Well, never had to apply it in language.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Okay, so in the current storyline, you had travelled from the Isle of Dread to the Atruaghin Plateau, where you had decided you were going to go talk to the giants in Rockholm via the Arendi Islands. Taking a step sideways to go forwards is always better than running into a wall.
Right. We then flew.
You did fly from the Secret Dragon Academy, having seen two of their secret academies, which are very rarely opened to non-dragons. Even dragonologists struggle to find them.
The caverns.
Uh,
Not the caverns, the blue
the water and the fire academies.
academies. That's the word I was looking for. Yes.
Because basically it is normally got creatures big enough to not notice when they step on you.
Normally.
And when you're the size of something they have to look out for while walking, you don't always expect to be treated well.
No.
Because they don't always look down.
No.
Come on.
You just need to complain over there, aren't you?
And arriving in
He's
Irendi,
finally got a chair and he's decided he doesn't want to sit on it.
you met with the King and Queen of Irendi, Mr. Beefcake and Miss Exceptional.
Yes.
They're around.
And you each got some awards and recognition, and you were taken aside and asked to do a small job for the Queen.
Small.
Well, anytime she asks someone to do something, it is generally referred to as a small task, because if she was to really need a lot of effort put into it, she would rather do it herself.
I was going to say stealing a potentially world-ending gemstone
Yes.
from
So we're off to steal something.
Yes.
What are we stealing?
You're stealing a gemstone that can reshape energy.
Yeah. So
And we know we met with a halfling.
Yes.
And we've checked our fingers after we shake his hand. We check we all have 10
We-
fingers and toes. 10 fingers
They're
and
all-
toes left.
That are all in the same places they used to be.
They were
Yes,
before we
so-
shook hands with
Exactly.
the item is protected by 4th level secret circle fire elementist, who's considering going for the 5th level Grand Master. And you're also a council member on already.
So you also met the
Oh, sorry.
Bartolomeo.
Yes.
He's not a halfling.
Isn't it?
He's just a master thief.
We still check our fingers and toes. Because I really don't want him stealing my pig. That would be really annoying. Come back here!
I feel like he's kind of like Rocket. He would steal it.
Because he could.
Yeah.
Probably just to laugh at the whole, we didn't really need that, but was not funny.
Yes, he'd do things like, one thing I did at one point was, I handed one woman her watch. She had one of those dress watches with a little chain on it to stop it coming off when you were doing it up and so on. Yes, I took her hand and said hello and bowed over it. It was very nice, and then handed her a watch. She hadn't noticed me take it off her, but I had to have slid it over her hand to make that work.
And
This
most
guy's-
people don't notice that.
But
Most people don't notice that if you're good enough.
oh yeah, it had helped. She had a couple of drinks on board, but yeah,
Okay, so
I was being a gypsy. I had to act like one. The sneaky, roguish sort of
Because
gypsy.
we're stealing their horses.
We do not steal horses. We liberate horses. It's not our fault if your horses decide to join our horses.
and he has a reputation as being one of the successful merchants from the Minratha guilds.
We thought
Which
he
means
was a
he's very,
merchant
very
prince,
rich.
didn't we?
Sorry?
We
If,
thought he was a merchant prince, didn't we?
He could quite easily be a merchant prince.
yeah. He's in the wealth level of what I would think as a Darakinian as a merchant prince.
And the Minareth people are also merchant princes.
Yeah, it's a point.
So they are more seagoing trade as their stylization, whereas the Darakan ones are more land-going trade.
Well, of course.
So wagon versus sail.
Yeah.
And also don't
Why
like boats and
versus?
sails.
They could work together to create a network of trading routes.
Technically
They
they
do.
can, but they prefer to compete because it's more fun. Competing means that there is someone to compete against,
Yes.
whereas if they were working together, they would pretty much own the world very quickly, and where would the fun be?
Yes. So, where's the fun? We just charge rent and sit back.
Because for the merchant princes, the journey is more interesting than the destination.
Yep.
The means justify the ends.
Money is just about keeping score.
And that is correct. As Jeremy said, money is their scorekeeping,
Yeah.
as they gain bonuses based on how much wealth they have obtained.
Yep.
So to gain ranks in their craft, they have to have obtained a certain level of wealth before they can train.
Yep. And through trade, not just from all adventure.
It all has to be trade, yes.
Yes.
But when you've got gods who can detect and check these things, very few people would go, but I've got that money through trade.
Yes.
See,
So-
look at this dragon hoard worth of gold that no one's seen for, decades.
Ah.
I
if you- but
traded
if you
the
then-
dragon.
But if you then got that wealth and did trade with it, after an amount of time, your wealth is now trade.
Yes. But it's about how much you've increased your wealth.
Exactly.
Over what
So if you
started.
go, if I get huge amounts of money from adventuring and then double it through trade,
Then that doubling
that
would
counts.
be considered your wealth.
yes. Because I've managed to keep all of my original and made more money.
Yes, don't do what some people do and end up with less than they started with.
Yes.
Negative wealth does not count for it.
Or just ending up a lot poorer than you started.
Okay, so
Like Trump wouldn't count.
Exactly. I was thinking exactly like that.
he is basically setting you up in his
I don't like the use
embassy.
of that language. Setting us up. How about establishing, shall we say?
Yes.
Well,
So when a robot was to set you up, then
Establishing is yes.
you would assume that setting you up is the correct language in this term.
Well, yes.
Just for to be precise.
I'm generally precise in my language.
Yes.
Jeremy knows that all too well, as does Paul.
Yes. Be wary again, be wary twice more.
Because I will generally pick the words for the meaning behind the words having more than one meaning.
Exactly.
This is why Drazzle says so little. Okay, so,
We have to set up.
well, technically you're being set up by the Queen as the scapegoat if something goes wrong.
Yes.
Because you're not technically her agents.
She was transparent about it
Oh yeah.
And this
Oh,
guy
that's
coming
lovely.
in has a desire to put a heist on our island because no one else has.
Oh, okay.
Well, no one who hasn't been invited has gone there and come back.
Yeah, there is. But of course, she's using expendable people. Plus, of course, we've shown ourselves to be at least moderately capable.
And part
So-
of having the ambassador for the Minrathag Guild is, well, if he's expended, that's one less thorn in her side.
Yes.
Well, that's because you Randy don't get very much of the Minros.
Well, the Minrathags are all about wealth, whereas the Arendi are more about freedom.
Yes.
So slightly different ideals behind their cultures.
Yes. Wealth and trade to survive and to pay for freedom. Not as a goal in itself.
Well, they've turned their island community into a holiday resort for the rest of the setting. The Arendi Islands
Yes,
are the
that's
place
right.
everyone
We used
comes to relax, recover, and explore life.
and do some low level adventuring in some cases.
All the way up to high level.
Yes.
It's also where you go for your epic level stuff.
Okay.
They don't have a small high, they have low all the way up to high.
Yeah.
Because on our island is the high level node.
Fair enough.
So when did you set up accommodation?
You set up. He was setting up accommodations for you inside his ambassadorial building,
Yeah.
where he is putting together a training course
Right.
to basically test each of you for how well you can assist in the heist. As in, he doesn't want to go in with complete unknown.
Well, that's fair. It's going to rate us for suitability. Or possibly unsuitability. We'll see how that goes.
It will probably depend on the dice.
Yes.
And he's one of the few Minrathads that Lani seem to respect.
That's right. Yes. So on that recommendation, we'll be as careful as required, but treat him as a friendly person.
Well, he also says trusting a Minrathad is like holding a snake by the tail.
Yes.
Tip.
But a snake that's smiling.
He doesn't trust his own people that much as well. He includes himself in that.
I spend a lot of time in Derrick. I know the idea.
But he's a very jovial man who looks like he should have retired from stuff years ago, but didn't. Well, when you've got skills and people are looking for someone to do things without notice.
Yes.
Okay, so after spending some time in his training, I will get Lubal to show how stealthy he's learned. Thanks, Jeremy.
Does it have to be individual testing?
He is having a look at each of you for different things.
Well, just the fact that Dracula has the scout leader capability, which allows him to pick another party member and roll stealth, and the score that Dracula rolled with his distance count for both him and the ally.
Which means you probably want to know who's the weakest of the stealthy party members.
So getting us rated is
That
useful.
would be like clomping around showing male arm.
Oh, yeah.
With one leg.
This is where group checks come in very useful. So if more than half of you actually make it, it all works. I do like that from 4th edition.
But as I say, I'm happy that the part of the individual testing is, hang on, yes, will need help doing the stealth.
What
So do you want me to roll or not?
what skill is stealth?
Oh, just me to start with.
Normally dexterity.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to bring some stuff
Yes.
on here too.
Stealth is by default dex based. Depending on what you're doing, you can probably make it intelligence based as well. Or wisdom to move correctly. But default is dex. And I could have rolled better, but I got a 16.
Okay, so he does seem deem your stealth fairly acceptable. He gets Father Pat to see how stealthy he is.
With or without the plate armor on?
No, no, chain.
Well, yeah, okay, chain. Chain's quieter.
It's all relative.
It's relative. It's all easy.
I don't think the comes across as noisy. I'm just going to have a quick look.
What's that?
Your chainmail.
Well, if he's got magic stuff, it's quieter. The modifiers in there are lower than they should be in real than they are in real life.
Plus 0.
D&D 3, by the way, actually had relatively realistic noise modifiers for heavy armor.
What did you get?
I rolled 11 and it modifies as 11.
Okay, so you don't.
I mean, I'm assuming there's no -1.
Well, they might be for the armor type.
Well,
No, the armor doesn't provide any negatives. If it
Oh,
does,
it
it
doesn't.
provides disadvantage. If it does.
yeah,
Right.
okay, that's right. So it doesn't provide any benefits, but it doesn't provide. A low dex does not negative impact your stealth.
No.
I actually do have disadvantage on that for changing.
No, chain shirt.
This is
does
full
not
chain.
actually have
It's full chain.
Full chain.
Full chain.
Yeah.
D&D does provide disadvantage, so I
Yeah.
don't know about level up.
Yeah.
There's D&D has scale mail and chain shirt. The chain shirt does not provide dexterity.
D&D has got a chain mail.
Chain shirt is their version of chain mail.
Okay. So so they don't have chain and chain shirt as two different things. Yeah, chain shirt is listed as a medium.
Yeah, that's right.
It is a medium.
When this is heavy, this
Yeah.
is chain is a heavy.
Yeah, the thing is the original.
So it's listed as 15 pounds,
Yeah.
but it doesn't give you disadvantage.
Right. Okay. But because
So it's the chain equivalent of a breastplate.
Because most of the time, chain shirt sits over cloth. It's not just.
Oh yeah, that's the state of a chain. You always wear stuff under it. Not wearing stuff under it is stupid.
And that
that's-
provides also some of the noise dampening.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, you do come across as. He thinks of it more as okay. He does get Drachnamar to showcase how he should be doing it.
Well, Drachnima moving at a speed of 70 feet, not 30.
Oh, for the full heavy armor, it's actually hauberk. Hauberk is chain. It doesn't
Yeah.
specify,
that's right. Because this is chain. Yeah.
but a hauberk is only ever used for chain armor.
Yeah. So this is the my understanding.
Again, Holberg doesn't have dex penalty.
No, it doesn't.
So
No,
when
there's a
whichever
stealth
one-
disadvantage. Which,
No, it does.
Nope.
Holberg doesn't have disadvantage.
okay.
And that's heavy
This is
armor.
where I'm getting confused with.
Yeah, it's the stuff that's made of plates. So splint,
So
full
can we
plate,
go
wall
back
plate,
to?
they've all got disadvantage. Anyway, we'll get back to thing.
So Jeremy, what did you get?
A lot of 30 moving at a speed of 70 feet per move.
Okay, so he definitely does the gold star in Drachnimir's side of things, saying we can definitely tell now why your group was selected, and he gets Calcrix to showcase her stealth.
Can Calcrix argue, as suggested by Lord, to use wisdom as her modifier, so she knows how, mainly not to stick her cat slippers on and then walk around meowing. But you know,
Yeah,
You can, yes.
yeah, yes. I didn't, but
roll the right side of the dice because a d12 probably won't give me as good a number. Or 19.
D12 plus 8. No, that's a roll. That's a way to roll a D20.
19 is 30.
So yes, looks like that Calcrix and Drachnamar both are showcasing how good they are at stealth.
Yeah.
She credits Eep. Eep's really good at sneaking up on things.
And then he asks you to test your perception to see if you can notice things.
Now, observational skills. We're starting with, what was it,
You'll get each of you to. We'll start off with Luel.
Sorry, what was the?
A perception to see how good you are at noticing these.
Yeah. Perceptibles. Ooh, I've got expertise dice. Ooh, 29.
29. Llewell is definitely showing how good he is at noticing stuff while he was stealthing.
Yep.
How about Father Pat?
10.
So Father Pat is definitely in the looking for advice column,
Yeah.
and he gets Drachnamar to check.
32.
So Drachnamar definitely gets a gold star on that with Llewell. And what about Calcrix?
26.
And Calcrix as well.
Good thing
Yeah.
Pat spoils
Calvin
long.
Steel. That's what.
Yeah. Yeah. No dex mod, which is why you can get away with a low dex.
Okay.
That's why you want that. That's why you want that stuff.
He does have a
Yeah.
swimming component where he gets Llewell to showcase how good a swimmer he is against currents in a athletics check.
Yes.
Do a second
Right. This one is not going to be the best.
Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses.
What's
Yes,
the-
I do have training in it though. I haven't got it written on here, but I do have training in my last
Is it
downtime.
Constitution for swimming?
Ooh.
Or dexterity?
Normally strength, but
Strength.
you can use constitution for endurance swimming.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And dex for dodging if you
I'll
want to do
use
a dex
strength
athletics.
to find that.
what did
But-
you get?
I managed to get the same d20 roll I did on my last check, which means my athletics is actually 22.
So that not bad.
I show, I'm showing off as an elf.
And what about Father
At least I
Pat?
don't suck.
How good is he at swimming?
Well, he gets his armour off.
That's completely up to him.
He probably is not stupid enough to go swimming in chain mail, no. So do we have time to doff and don?
You do have time to doff and don, but the amusing thing is, chainmail doesn't reduce your swimming.
Yes.
In that case, I'll swim.
Play, yes, play tunnel would because it gives you disadvantage on movement stuff. But yeah,
9 plus 6 is 15.
Okay, not as good as the elf, but hey, that's to be expected.
Hey, I'm in chain mail, he's not.
you're a dwarf in armour and you're down a leg and you've still got that. That's pretty bloody impressive.
A human.
Or human.
But he's a short human, but he's
Short
human.
but yeah, okay. But yeah, so you got that down a leg.
Because
It's pretty good.
Because
You know.
athletics is not dex based, it's strength based.
Exactly.
And Calcrix is a natural swimmer.
Yes, now acrobatics.
So Calcrix doesn't
That's
have
not
to
so
roll.
good.
I don't have to roll.
Don't use it to climb something. Well, climbing's okay, don't have to jump.
Yes.
Which would technically have given her a 27.
Well, considering you have a swim speed,
But since I've got a swim speed and I'm natural at it, I'll just take that.
basically you can push your swimming further with a swim roll than those who don't have a swim
Yeah.
speed. So you're the equivalent of Aquaman in the water.
Yes.
Then we have Drachnamar.
Although I've got an item for that.
It's 24 and deliberately swims the entire distance underwater without coming up to breath.
Because you can show off. Nice work. Good stuff.
Okay, so he
Good
is.
crazy skills.
Yeah.
It's obviously not self success skills, it's that. Because you can't do what you really do.
I was going to say, even though she's a natural swimmer and doesn't have to roll, Carcrix will still do a double barrel roll and jazz wings.
Of course.
Okay, so he says the first step of the infiltration is we need to sneak into the Thyatian Ambassador's residence and steal his research.
I'm doubtful that this is the actual first step. I suspect that Bart just wants to steal the Thyatian's ambassador's research. That Carcrix is
Well,
accepting.
Well, the thing is, it's the first step of this is I'm going to actually get you to actually prove you can do stuff.
Yeah, there's a sign just in front of the laundry door telling you.
Telling you how to do it.
Sure.
He does say he's been observing Hector Octavian hiring many groups of people to infiltrate on an island over the last 10, 15 years.
And keeps doing so even though none of them come back.
Pretty much.
Did you say he's the Thyatian
Yes.
ambassador's name is Hector?
Yeah, Hector Octavian.
Because you don't want to say that 3 times fast.
Right, then we'll let the potato pay. I'll hold that through.
Yeah, Octahectavian, there we go, easy.
Yeah, half my mouth is still not convinced.
Well, that's fair.
It does make things hard to actually pronounce sometimes.
There we go.
And he has been constantly courting the Honor Island council member,
Right.
but she keeps rebutting his advances.
Okay.
Sorry, Bart keeps on.
Hector Octavian keeps doing, trying a romantic hookup with the Honor Island council member.
And she keeps telling him to bog off.
Partly because I'm sure she learned all about Thyatian's history, having also studied in Galantry at the great school there.
Yeah, she ain't done.
And learning about how abuse of power can lead to plain destruction.
Yes.
Okay, so he gives you the night to see if you can find Hector's information on an island and return it.
Because 15 years of doing that, something's got to come out of it.
He's likely to know their patrol schedules, their various defences, because he's sure people have returned without actually reaching the island fully.
Quite probably.
And would any form of intelligence is better than none, he says.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have done some sort of scouting runs, paid for scouting runs.
And Bart's idea is if someone else has done the work, let's steal theirs.
Exactly.
Plus, he does say that the Queen had put him up to setting Hector back another few years.
So we're doing 2 tasks a month.
You are?
Well, there's
Or
probably
at
going to
least-
be more than 2.
He
Or
does.
at least we're doing 1 task, you're doing 2.
He does advise that death shouldn't happen. Otherwise, embarrassing things will come to light.
Right.
In and out without being noticed.
No,
Yes.
noticed is fine. Death's a nut, he says.
Yes.
Much like on the trip to Honor Island, being noticed is more acceptable than killing someone. Rendering people unconscious and inability to stop you is perfectly fine.
Yes. Right, so knocky-outy stuff only. Fair enough.
Which is partly why he chose the Thyatian ambassadors as the testing ground, because hey, you mess up there, at least you'll know now.
So, in my little absence, did we successfully steal the stuff or not? That's all there.
Haven't gone there yet.
Right.
You haven't reached there yet. They're just looking at you getting to the ambassador's building. He points across the street. You can see a expensive, lavish-looking palace that has no real practical defences.
Are there any guards?
Oh, there are guards, but there's a lot of blind spots.
So, I'm thinking perhaps I can distract the guards. It's sneaking is
Yeah.
not my best thing, and perhaps we could go and
Well,
Yeah.
rather than
have a
distracting
snap
the guards,
inspection of the guards to see if their uniforms are up to standard.
I
I was going to say, rather than distracting the guards, how about we look for one of those blind spots and just stealth through it?
Well, that's
yeah,
the option.
this is what I was about to suggest is this is Drachnimir's domain. You lead
Yep.
us, and
It
we'll just
is.
try and keep up
Yeah.
because this is
Yeah,
the stuff. This is your job.
we're going to check first of all that. So apparently he's got a set of physical security options, but does he have any access to magical security?
Yes, I'm sure he does. That's completely up for your task, he says.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's sure your recommendations mean you're up to whatever surprises the ambassador might have for you.
For the idea, he said that he had intelligent gained from previous conference. Obviously, he's always going to take with the greatest confidence in his own. If it was specified that it was already known or believed what magical defences were there, then
Yes.
that would be advantageous, but we can deal with it as it comes.
Well, he has a good idea of what defences are there, just that we won't know the full extent of on an island, so not knowing before going in means you get to show how adaptable you are.
Calcrix might also have some spells that might be able to help protect some of the magical safeguards. Just gonna have a spell list.
I will be pulling something to Ariadne's attention. If I can find it.
Would help if I could have a literal book for spells.
Okay, so Calcrix has a crystal ball
Yes.
that Luell recognizes as having been traded to someone in Francia.
I have a pretty solid look at him.
So-
What is the significance of this crystal ball having been traded from?
He did it so he could save the Grand Master of the Galantrian School of Magic.
So it was traded?
Traded in another dimension.
Yes. Somewhere that should have dissipated or something similar to it just after we left.
And the dimension was called
Francia. That's what the players called it.
Yes.
Because they ended up in a place called France.
Yes.
Of course, Francia.
Yes.
Or
In a,
tracks.
in a,
The people who live there were tracks.
a steampunk World War One that was about to fall to entropy.
So is this possibly one of the things I got for my birthday? This crystal ball? Or is that just something that you've given me just now?
I believe it's something that Calcrix was given by Drazzle.
Ah, okay, yeah. Because I know I've got a couple of orbs, but I wasn't I didn't know I had one from Francia's.
And this one was, it's called the Immortal Eye and Orb. A
The-
crystal ball with a rune in it that can see things as they truly are.
So did you say an immortal eye?
Yep.
Yep.
So it comes with this fleshy little eye that becomes the sensor that floats around. So you can technically lose the sensor and it won't do much.
And it can see the true.
And it becomes a visual thing for you while you're holding the ball. You can see through that eye as it floats. You've just got to touch it to the eye you want to see through.
Yeah.
So she's got to walk around kind of holding it.
Well, the little eye of an immortal.
Oh, how does it come out of the ball?
It's not inside the ball. It's already outside the ball. So you've got a ball and an eye.
Right, okay. Well, you said it had a crystal ball.
Basically, the eye is actually a kind of remote drone that can move around and you see what the eye is seeing
Yes.
through the ball.
So it has a physical presence where it's looking from,
Right.
and you can see using the orb what it's looking at.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
you set the eye free, is that right?
The
And
eye
then
goes
you
and
use the
floats.
orb to, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's literally a drone with a video camera and you're looking on your iPad back where you control it from.
Yes.
Yeah, that helps, because I was having trouble figuring out visually
which is
what
much-
I was dealing with.
Which is much better than the crystal ball that I found at one point, where you could do that, but you had to take your own eye out to do it.
That's because it was mistranslated.
As the enchantment was mistranslated?
No, the people you bought it from had mistranslated it.
Right.
So that will allow us to see ahead of
Because
us.
you could also do it the other way around by inserting that eye into you and having true seeing through that eye.
How far ahead of us can it see go?
It can go quite a distance.
Okay. And I can also put true seeing eye ointment.
You can do that as well. But this is something that will last as long as you're concentrating.
Yeah.
This is very nice.
So that will help. Don't want to combine it with magic missile, I presume. Joking.
Not directly, no.
The crystal ball does extend all your divination spells.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah, that's what I was
So all
wondering,
crystal
yeah.
orbs will double the duration of all divination.
Yeah.
But the crystal orb of true seeing in particular gives you true sight and doubles the distance of a true sight you cast while holding it. So if you cast it yourself or if you use the item.
Yes. So if it is cast, however you cast it, yeah. So what you're saying about the crystal ball, what side of it did they mistranslate?
They basically, the way of setting the eye free is you touch the eye and pluck it and let it go.
Fly free to lie.
Both the instructions were you pluck your own eye and throw it away, but they didn't quite realize that you had this other eye that you actually did it with. Everything bought from the eye store has mistranslation written into it.
Ah,
It's done by a beholder after all.
okay. That doesn't actually follow.
He is a second-hand merchant who doesn't read all the instructions.
Yes, okay. Not reading all the instructions, that follows. The fact he's beholden doesn't.
He
So
believes he
that-
knows
but that's-
best.
But that's not something I had any clue about at the
You
time.
didn't at the time. It was meant as a later item.
Correct.
And it was always going to come back at some point. You got what you needed out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do have a way of noticing magical traps and stuff. You have someone who can sneak you into the establishment, and you have someone who can pretty much determine what's the technical information you need to find, and
Yeah.
someone to silence the guards, which will probably be our paladin.
Yeah.
Father Pat.
Yep, that's how what he does.
But remember, non-fatal.
Oh, I think
Okay.
just right, soldier. Button just seems to be a bit loose there.
We can aim to get in undetected or unseen with the fact that they say Dracula can support Father Pat in moving quietly. So we don't need to plan a distraction as the first option, but potentially have that as the fallback if we get caught.
Well, the question is, do all of us need to go in, or is that too big a group when you're trying to sort of go in there and steal?
That's the test.
Yes.
Because-
I'm with you, it's too big a group personally. One or two would be my
Yeah.
suggestion.
If you're doing on an island, you don't have a choice of leaving people behind.
Right.
So if you can't do this task with everyone, then you can't do it on an island.
Okay, well then we're all going into the
Yeah.
Thyatian Ambassador's place to go.
Yep. Just not necessarily all to the same spot for the plans.
Do we know
Things to
exactly or approximately where the records are located?
He says it's on the grounds.
Do we know what the research might look like?
He does say that he believes Llewell would be able to identify it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking about locate object in terms of trying to determine where it might be. If someone could draw me a reasonable picture and give me a reasonable description.
He says he could, but the problem is this also will not help you on an island.
Okay, alright.
He needs you to be able to improvise and succeed,
Fair enough.
not just walk to the target without actually risking anything and coming out.
Oh no.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
fine.
Because if you don't know what you're looking for when you go in there, you have to be able to determine it once you're there.
Mm.
He expects that on an island, not everything will be as it seems.
Yes, well, that's fair. So,
Okay.
Mr. Sneaky Specialist, what are our roles for this? How are we going to do it?
Okay, so in that case then, if we're happy to effectively go in with the minimal information and make up as we go along,
We could scout it
what
first.
are we looking at from the outside?
Yeah. We could
What the external barrier, what the first barrier we're crossing?
The first barrier to cross is a shrubbery.
Yeah.
say knee.
Knee, yeah.
They do not have any
Nice.
actual physical walls.
Right.
Okay.
They do have at what appears to be 50 legionnaires on site.
So definitely stealth a lot. Yes.
Entrances?
And the legionnaires are generally, you can see probably about 10 from outside observation.
Right.
Mainly at, there'll be 4 at the front door and probably 4 at the back door and 2 wandering around the outer part of the estate.
Sorry. Too many things to
Right. Well, we've got.
We've got a front door, the back door, any windows?
There are lots of windows. Think of it like a large Roman columns with about 3 or 4 levels of building that you can go to.
Okay.
And all of it made out of plasterboard instead of stone because, well, he couldn't afford actual stone here.
There you go.
But it's done up in the what looks to be Romanesque style.
Okay.
And you can tell from various parts where weather and maintenance haven't been kept up.
Yeah.
Because you can see that some areas the windows look to have fallen in.
Oh.
As in it's in disrepair?
You'd probably think it's in constant repair because it was not designed for the locale it was built in.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
It should have had more hardy materials. But he couldn't get the materials to build it here, so he built it to mimic the materials it was supposed to be built from.
Right.
So think paper mache instead of stone.
So it looks like it was done on the cheap.
And what's
So
available?
he's got this
Yes.
grand looking Romanesque palace.
Yeah. And
Essentially made out of paper mache, cheapish material.
it looks impressive until you see the fine detail.
Just don't poke your finger through it.
Yeah. It's also going to make it a bugger to climb. Of course, we could rip a hole through a wall to get in, but it's a bit obvious. So we don't want to be doing that.
And you're not sure what's real and what's not.
There's that too.
And a good way of making it look impressive is to have completely useless bits built onto it that he doesn't care about.
Yes. Plus, of course, all the fun of screwing up people trying to break in by having stone walls with paper mache over the top. Or stabilised acid. Punch through the paper mache, you get drenched.
Bit beyond.
Okay, so I will ask Braknamir to do a survival check as you're surveying the land.
15, 27.
Okay, so you can rule out underground access fairly quickly
Right.
because
Mhm.
it doesn't look as if it's adjacent to any of the ports or main sewer systems that you can see running through the city.
Mm.
There's only a couple of main lines for that.
Yeah.
And it looks as if he wasn't given a prime location to build.
He built on what he could.
And it looks as if it was land not really deemed suitable for most people.
It's very rude.
Well, Thyatian is not a loved nation.
Well, no, that's true. That's fair.
And having the recent history of it still referring to the Thyatians as the enslavers that were kicked out.
Yeah.
They have not been given the best defensive or
No.
connected places.
On the other hand, it means it's got the defense of you ain't tunneling into this thing.
No.
Almost as good as doing it on bedrock.
The grounds do look a little swampy.
Oh, okay.
Which is going to be interesting to move across without leaving tracks.
And you can see that there are various sections where they have built pathways across it. And they've even put in a maze in the back, which you're not sure why, considering the sponginess of the ground.
There's got to be some reason for that. Maybe I'm weird.
Well, you've dealt with Thyatians. They will take a craze and follow it to stupidity just to make them look good.
Yeah. So here's a maze. I've got some galoshes for you to wear doing it.
Guys, look how wonderful my maze is. I've got a maze on my property. Do you have a maze? I've got a maze.
Yeah. So it might not even be actually a proper maze.
And much like I've got this big grand building, just look how much bigger it is than yours.
Yes. In fact, it's empty and it has one loo in it.
And that is how most of the people believe the Thyatians are like, is all show but no actual substance.
And they have carefully cultivated that for ages.
And he has survived as an ambassador for 20 years here.
Which means he's bloody good at it. Thinking of getting in through those walls, I would think of going over the walls.
Well, there are 3 levels of hedges, each bigger than the next.
Oh, even more fun.
So the first one just being a shrubbery is...
The second thing we go from a shrubbery to a big shrubbery to a big, very big shrubbery.
To a real hedge.
None of it looks very defensible, but who knows what they've hidden under the hedges.
I was going to
They
say,
could have just sensible trigger wires.
using Calgrix's orb, she can
Yeah.
check over the top of each edge and could lift those who can't fly over each hedge.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can do the same thing with my carpet.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You could just use your carpet and take Pat with you, and Calgrix's dragon could fly themselves over each edge.
Yeah.
I would suggest doing one hedge at a time to limit visibility.
And he does have enough bushes between the hedges for obscuring views in various directions.
Yeah.
You'd probably say the entire structure would fit within about 300 feet.
What? Lineage distance between.
The structure of the building itself would fit within 300 feet easily. It looks very impressive and long, but it does cater for the 50 legionnaires as well.
Yeah. Given what it is, it might actually be even cramped inside. Because you've got the ambassador, whatever family he's got here. Obviously not much, but the servants involved, including servants for staffing banquets.
Reputation are that the legionnaires serve as all his servant needs.
That actually sounds quite reasonable.
Because technically they can't trust anyone else.
Which is 100% valid and correct behaviour.
So anyone you meet inside the building is expected to be a trained soldier who's not on the front line for a specific reason.
Yeah.
Or the place may be gutted and the soldiers have all been recalled.
We can't make that assumption.
No, do not make that assumption.
Because if you do make that assumption, you've also got to assume he took all his cool stuff with
With it. So the stuff we're stealing might not be
Yeah,
there.
he wouldn't leave his
Exactly.
research behind.
Yes.
We don't know his research is not there. Well, let's assume it's not been
No.
taken.
If we do find something there, it's a fake. Because that's something I'd do.
Certainly best to plan for the worst.
Yes.
So,
So, best way in, do we go through... I really want to avoid going through the walls. That would be bad. So,
There was
Dracomir.
only a front door and a back door.
well,
And then lots of windows.
There are lots of windows in various places, and Calcrick can easily get people up onto the roof with
Yeah.
her hide. Without actually
That's true, we
having
don't
to,
even have to
fly.
fly, because that's a bit noisy. So, Dracomir.
and how many, is it a single story building or how many stories?
Looks to be 3 stories tall.
Yeah.
3 stories, yeah. Yeah.
When she's maximum height, there's a lot of her.
Yes. But she's probably a bit easier to spot too if she's big.
Well, yeah, but we can get up there quick, smart, and it's only going to be a round or so.
I did do well on the stealth.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
be standing full height, being white next to a building that is
I
not
don't
white.
have to be white. I have a very willing eek who has a lot of colouring in pens. I could
That's
be
fair.
black.
You could prep for it and be
I could
wall.
be camoed.
You could be wall coloured.
I could be camo dragon.
You could. If you do it fast
And it
enough.
depends. If their Romanesque building is white,
Yeah. And if it's fast enough, you could be a pixelated display.
can we use pixelated display in the Star setting?
There's
Well,
nothing. There's nothing
your
wrong with.
scales could probably
Well, that's the thing. Paint each scale a different colour. That's one frame. Then you change the
Well-
colour of some of the scales. Next frame.
We've
This
got
is
a
just
head start. She's already
claymation.
painted several different colours.
Well, that's true. Anyway, Dracomir, your professional opinion. Window, roof.
I'm thinking that windows, particularly seeing that some of them are seemingly this collapse.
Yeah.
Like typically open windows already. Now, they may be false decay.
Yeah.
But I think they're probably the easiest one because that means you're not looking at trying to get past the 4 guards and either the front or back door.
Yeah. I'm
The-
thinking a suggestion. Second story window, not first. No, not.
Okay, if we've got easy access to the second story, that's fine. It's the okay.
Yeah.
It was so. He's certainly confident that Calcrix can stay hidden when we climb up Calcrix to get to the higher levels. It seems counterintuitive to him,
Oh.
so
You wouldn't climb up Calcrix. You would simply stand in one of her hands and she would just lift you from ground to roof.
Yeah.
It would take probably less than 30 seconds.
While
Yeah,
you're
that's
observing the estate, you do hear a smaller voice asking, "Hey, what you guys up to?"
Okay. Who is it?
You turn around and there is a rather short for a halfling.
a quarterly. If that's half, was that matron?
Well, he looks more broad than he is tall.
Oh dear.
A roundling.
No, it's shorter than
About the same height.
Yeah,
Does-
they're slimmer.
Does
Sometimes.
this person look like they might be a gnome?
They definitely look like a halfling.
Okay.
Who?
So-
Precisely all of us? or-
Well, he's sort of just talking in your direction in general.
So Eve holds out a cookie,
He gladly accepts the cookie and
And
munches away.
Cavrix goes, who might you be?
My name is Asta of Redenshire. Who might you be, dear dragon?
I'm surprised you don't recognize me. I am the dragon with the jazz wings.
Oh, I heard about there being a big do at the grounds last night.
Well, I still got Casey various places.
Sorry, he was Asta,
Asta the Redenshire.
the Redenshire.
Red D Den Shire.
Have I heard of Asta the Redenshire?
You have not.
Or...
But Lani knows him well.
Okay.
Right.
If there was a Lowell of Erendi, that would be Asta.
So I'm going to put the Lowell of Redenshire.
Of Erendi.
Oh, sorry, the Lowell of Erendi.
So, what are you guys up to? He says.
I'm assuming he accosted them while Dracula was
Yes.
doing his search of the grounds.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Yep.
Calcrits will.
Are they just standing on the creek side, or are they standing in our accommodation looking through the window, or?
Well, we were all together for doing the scouty thing, and you went off to do more scouty things, so we stayed where we were.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's where you just better located.
Yeah.
I presume that we were hidden.
You were fairly well hidden, yes.
Calcrits
We were not standing straight looking at who we came out.
No, we weren't.
will not assume that Asta is a fool and
We're very
say,
silly. We're not that silly.
well, given our proximity to said embassy and our hidden location, what do you think we might be up to?
Well, he does a twirl of his lapel as he goes, I am sure you're up for deviousness and intrigue, he says, with a twinkle.
Injury? Hopefully not.
Deviousness and intrigue.
Intrigue.
Oh,
Intrigue.
intrigue.
Yeah, she heard
yes,
injury.
Right.
I guess so far, that's injury.
Well, I heard injury too. So.
I was trying to go so far that gets a mention.
Intrigue, he meant intrigue.
Yes.
That's,
And injury as well.
He preferred not injury, that's not his.
I would describe it as challenge and fun.
That's certainly a way to put it.
I think this is going to be challenging and fun.
So, does this mean you're playing a prank on the ambassador?
Absolutely.
Can he help?
Absolutely.
Not the ambassador, no.
Calvert said
there's-
so fast.
there's
He
the-
almost doesn't finish the
There's
question.
yes, there's the clarification. Can you help us? Because turning up and saying hi and I'm going to help the ambassador is not something we want to be hearing.
Oh no, he asked if you're doing a prank on the ambassador.
Oh, yeah.
And said yes you are, and said can he help?
I know.
Well,
Can
Calvert
you help
hasn't
the
ruled
ambassador?
out playing the prank,
Yeah.
but also getting the research.
Oh yeah.
And
Yes.
playing a prank would be an awful lot of fun. She's up for pranks. And at the same time that she's saying absolutely, there's Eve nodding very enthusiastically.
He says, well, he does know all the best places to sneak in.
Ah.
This sounds like a perfect matching effect.
Are they useful for people outside?
Oh, they're useful for anyone of anyone size, he says. He once snuck a giant in there.
Calgary is like, we have to share this story over coffee later.
Definitely a story we want to hear.
Well, he gave the giant a beehive full of really annoyed bees, and had them put it in the ambassador's personal boudoir, he says, with rolling his eyes a little bit, and the soldiers couldn't figure out how to get it out.
Speaking of pranks, we were just trying to figure out what kind of a prank to play. Do you have any suggestions?
We're still in the planning stage.
Well, he has figured out which stone to pull apart to make the entire building crumble.
That?
Took him 5 years to figure that one out.
Nice work.
Is that too far?
It's
Caprick's just kind of looking at little and Brother Pat and like,
for what?
this sounds fabulous,
No, no.
but I'm
This-
wondering if this might be one of
This,
those
this,
occasions where
this-
it's not.
no, not at the moment. This one's for the culmination of a series. This is where you do a prank and then you do a bigger prank and then you do another one and then you do that.
Well, from the sounds of things, players speak, Asta's worked his way up to this one.
Yeah.
Well, it does look as if Asta is actually from the Five Shires, specifically,
Yeah.
not one of the Arendi halflings.
I would assume you'd be able to tell by accent.
Accent and tattoos.
Right.
Um,
So, yeah.
You believe he actually served in the unofficial halfling fleets.
so do we?
Yes, the particular style of tattoos would give that away.
Yes.
Do we know this as
dear.
characters?
As characters,
Yeah.
yes, it is quite obvious why most people wouldn't think anything of retaliation.
Yeah, you don't retaliate against people, against someone who used to be a pirate and he's still alive.
Well, she knows from your jury that you definitely know.
Well, yeah, but your generic person who's going to look at this and go, let's not mess with the pirate.
Calcrix.
And he does have the symbolism for one of the dread pirates you recognize.
Ooh. Oh, Lani's gonna, I'll keep track of that for Lani. She's going to
You recognize it as one of the sailors for dread pirate Wheeze.
Okay.
Dread pilot.
Pirate Wheeze.
Yeah. Wheeze. W-E-I-E-S-S.
As in W-E-I-S-S. Calcrix
Said to be now retired and only a cook.
wondering.
Allegedly.
Eh,
The bodies have met him.
yes.
He just rarely uses his name.
Yes, but we did get his name at the time, though, didn't we? So yes, I will say, I've met him.
And you're alive. Obviously, you did a good impression.
Yes, we did. He appreciated our existence.
Was it a bird?
No.
Cat. He just keeps doing animal impressions. Yeah.
Flamingo, that was the one.
Flamingo. I'm sure he'd like that.
It was the pink feather boa that gave him away.
Yeah. So, but yes, that particular halfling cook was really freaking scary. Of course, at the time we were only like level 4.
And he was one of the legendary characters of the setting.
I wouldn't necessarily say he likes us, but I think if we met him again, he wouldn't want to kill us immediately. Which is about all the good you can say about someone like that.
Well, he's currently travelling with Dimitri, so who knows what will happen there.
True. Oh, sorry, this thing's doing updates.
Okay, so
Stop that. So,
he says he's
Yeah.
currently working as a investigator in Ireland. Oh, well, he really gets paid for it, but hey, he gets to talk to everyone and find out everything.
And finding out things is worth its own money. Worth its own gold.
He does do a fairly good risk trading information.
That's your investigation. In fact, people aren't directly paying you for the investigation. It's a different thing. I know what that's like. Now, what we need to do is a little investigation of the ambassador.
Well, the ambassador, which part of him do you want to investigate? His current conquests, his military plans for trying to reclaim Arendi as a Thyatian penal colony.
All of those could have their uses.
Well, he keeps changing the figures in his cost-benefit thing ledger for him.
Nice.
Well, if it never quite adds up every time he's trying to do it.
And particularly if you're going to be doing it in his own handwriting.
Well, there was that day he exchanged the entire page of information for a, let's just say a way to prepare Thyatians properly.
Three or four recipes immediately come to mind.
Well, there was one particular one he thought would just suit in his preparation.
Yes.
Of course, when he read that out the next day at a speech, it was quite interesting. He got halfway through the page before he noticed that his speech was changed.
Well, that's what he gets for doing a speech half asleep, which I'm presuming you also helped with. But yes, I got some interesting recipes from Reese. None of which I've ever used, mind you.
It's always handy when you run out of rations.
It's also they can be used for other means. Some of them work really well on land, for example. But we are after some very specific information about an island that he's been attempting to investigate.
Oh, he's been trying to hire him to investigate on an island for him for years. He just laughs in his face after taking the money.
Well, that's fair.
Well, time is money, he says.
Yes, I'm presuming you've done this multiple times.
About once a year, he says.
And he still pays for it.
Well, he's hopeful.
From what I've been told, he's been doing this for 15 years. That's beyond hopeful.
Well,
that's desperate.
I'm the only person he's paid who hasn't turned up dead.
Because you never went anywhere.
Oh, I've been there.
Sounds like we're going to be good buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
we'd like to go there again.
Yes, but you best to be invited, he says. They don't give out invitations easily.
Is there a way to do this in reasonable time?
Reasonable time for them took 5 years, he said.
So, no.
That was their version of reasonable.
Yes. But I wasn't talking about that. We do not have that time.
Well, he does have a few unreasonable channels, but unfortunately, they couldn't cater to, well,
People who aren't you.
well, non-shipmates, he says. For they are welcome in these waters, no matter which waters they are.
Who were welcome?
These,
His shipmates.
yeah. So the naughty halflings.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Very few people ask us to stop.
More than once.
Well, they don't
So
count, he
this
says.
should be Friday's challenge, and we should just be sending Roger in Fridays.
He says he has heard of Yodri. He's the guy who crashed a flying gnome vessel because he was drunk.
Amongst other exploits, he did also help bring the primals back to the Isle of
Yeah.
Dread and reset the seasons. So
But he's never done much on a boat, so
Yeah.
He hasn't had the opportunity, unfortunately. He's been too busy saving the realm with other various people working on behalf
That's all right.
of the people against the master.
He says he'll forgive him. He'll get around to doing his time on the water.
He very does much miss the water, and he speaks often of not being able to actually get there, so I imagine he will one day.
Yes.
Well, there's life there too,
He says. Yes. So, a method to get us there. We're here at the moment to try and get the information we can from the ambassador. Is it actually worth us doing this? Apart from playing silly bugger on the ambassador.
He likes to hide his secret stuff inside the maze that is rather predictable.
Is it just in a sort of statue in the middle or something?
Oh, he has a building there. Not a very big building, mind you. It's more into the ground than above ground.
Right.
Typical halfling type hole.
Well, he didn't want it to be obvious from the street or from someone else's building.
Oh, true. The building would have to be shorter than the hedge of the maze.
Yes, exactly.
And that's going to be probably about 8 feet tall. So it's not going to be a big building.
But it's more of a what looks like a well for ladder.
Yeah, well, that would count it being.
I thought it was a wishing well until I went down to investigate.
And then you wished there was something useful down there.
Oh no, I made plenty of wishes while I was down there, he says.
Yeah, that someone had to clean him up afterwards. Yeah.
Well, if they found his wishful thinking, then he's sure that many other things came to be.
The wishes were fishes.
He had a good fishing day that day.
So has Dracula returned yet?
Dracula can have returned at this point because, well, hey, he is very stealthy and could have heard the whole conversation.
He did return a little while ago,
Yes.
but when he saw you conversing with some new person, he deliberately did not actually come forward, but you said, okay, what's going on here? I'm wondering, why is it the parties disclosing plans, getting information, and pieces to apparently around Australia?
And the description of him is a cheerful, chubby halfling with a sunny disposition and all the brooding menace of Shirley Temple at a birthday party.
Until you see the tattoos.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on, Ariel.
Sees Dracula before
Yeah.
everyone else. That'd be a dice roll.
Sure, give me a dice roll.
That'll be a 29. No, yeah, 20. Yeah, 29.
And what was Dracula's stealth?
Active stealth is 33.
Okay, so
Yeah,
no, didn't
no.
notice him.
I was just going to turn to him and say, well, he's not an apparent stranger. He's, Lowell knows him, but since I don't notice you, I can't say that until you speak up.
Yes.
He says, so is that tall brooding Atruaghin hiding in the dark over there one of your people?
No, he's not. You should play a prank on him.
I sort of light up and a big smile happens. Of course, at that point you notice the pointed teeth.
Yes.
Kalkrick says, yes, he is actually part of our...
He says, no, he's not.
Yeah, but that's he.
He says death to the infidel, actually.
He was flashing a blank page.
It goes a gleeful yellow. And Calcrix looks worried because gleeful yellow is not good at
No.
coming with death to the infidel.
Yes.
And would you like a cup of coffee with that? Yes.
He does
Yes.
tip his jaunty cap in Dracula's direction and give him a childlike wave of wonder.
Greetings, sir.
Greetings, my name is Uster of Redenshire, and what is your name? Tall, dark, and brooding, he says.
Oh, my good friend.
Well, friend, it's an interesting name. I've met quite a few of those. Not all of them turn to be a friend, but someone's friend.
Indeed.
We had A friend and B friend.
Well, a friend doesn't mean he's my friend.
And what brings you out this fine fair night, friend?
Oh, I just like going for a walk every now and then, and stopping by each of the ambassadors' premise to see if there's anything worth his interest.
Oh.
And hey, a dragon, a well-dressed
say.
elf, and a what looks to be a centurion from the Darkin army were definitely of interest for him.
I was
this
going to
year.
say, a dragon, elf, and a paladin walk into a bar, that attracts anybody's interest.
He was still trying to find out the punchline, he says.
Put your back in canvas.
A dragon open a peg leg.
I give him 4 useful punchlines for that particular joke.
He is quite entertained. Tries not to laugh out too loudly.
But you need to share them with us.
Oh, Claw will quite
Ah,
happily
we
share.
would not wish to delay your
Claw's
nightly
father.
excursions.
Well, he doesn't feel like he's been delayed at all. It seems that you are tonight's activity, he says, giving you a wink.
He's offered us help with playing a prank on the ambassador,
Yes.
and most of that involves many ways in which to infiltrate the ambassador's house and maze, where all his secrets are kept.
Yes, because he apparently
Oh, I
keeps his
understand.
secrets in a well in the maze. Well, yeah, you've been there. You've probably heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's exactly something that Dracula was particularly interested in the maid because he's actually a Leavenworth priest. It was cute. The idea of the head mage was, oh, that's a bit quaint.
You looked at the hedge mage and went, there are 3 walls in, and there doesn't seem to be any deviations.
Right.
You can just walk straight from the building to the center of the maze.
Well, the idea of the
And none of the other entrances actually go anywhere. They're all dead
but
ends.
the real question he had for the mage when he did the Seneca was the idea of, hang on, can we access the maze from the external grounds to then use it as a method to get into the house?
You
I mean,
could
idea
accept
that
that
it might want to come up.
the paths go nowhere, except for the one on the other side that goes straight in.
Yes. So this was designed and built by an idiot. But
The ambassador himself designed it, he says.
by someone, I will, yes, by someone whose only desire for the maze is to look cool and make it easy to get to the middle.
And he challenges people on his dinner parties. They can enter anyone but that point. And if he beats them, then he wins his bet.
I'm presuming he has that blocked off or something.
Oh no, he has his guard station there, and he's the one who walked in that way.
Yeah, basically, he's got 3 extra boots because one of them leads straight to the middle, and the other 2 are dead end, and he gives a race, and he always starts at the middle one, and the other one starts the others.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you have now just classified everything he thinks about Thyatians.
Yeah.
A fair deal is not their side of things. They need to
Yes.
have more ships, more men, more money than everyone else.
Yeah.
Fair does not
And-
else.
Is it literally a hedge maze? Like a plant?
It looks like it was supposed to be a hedge mage, but it is a very poorly constructed one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like a plant?
And most of the hedge seems to be plants stuck on wooden trellis.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So it looks like they replaced various sections of it on a monthly basis where it dies off because they haven't been looking after it properly.
Yeah.
And
Right.
a good druid could pretty much screw the maze over in probably an hour's work.
Yeah.
Make it a real maze.
Plant growth.
But yeah, so
Mess him up.
obviously the fact that we can get into the maze, or the maze is likely to be the source of our target. Yes, in fact, we was looking at the maze as being an entry point to the house, as opposed to an exit point from the house.
Yes.
Can we effectively get into the maze by going through one of the egg walls or something like that from the outside?
He says, yes, all you have to do is just cut through each hedge on the way, and you can walk straight to it without even stopping.
Well,
As long as you're not in competition with the Ambassador, then I'm sure no one will notice.
So I was asking on the sense of what that Nimrod found in his investigation. He certainly wasn't asking the friend
Okay,
who
so
happened to arrive.
you believe you could leap over the walls without damaging them quite easily. Pushing through them seems a bit difficult because of the wooden structure holding up the plants.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how high walls?
About 8 feet.
So good coverage, and it's easy to jump over when you do.
And the well in the center only hits about 4 feet in height. So hard enough for most people to look over, but not tall enough to be seen over the maze.
Right.
So anyone with on top of a building wouldn't see directly into the center of the maze.
Yeah. As long as you're still on this side of it. Yeah. Dear,
Well, so from technical perspective, so he's still not questioning or even really recognize one of the ways, why the rest of the party talking to these random strangers that happen to come up when they're planning on a partial activity. We should all be on our way.
we should.
Where are we going, he says?
Into the maze?
Sounds like fun, he says. I haven't burned it down for a month or so.
Fair enough.
Right. And this is going to get dribbled.
Oh no, he just keeps buying plants. They're not particularly flammable, but he tries his hardest.
Well, a good amount of lamp oil and a couple of alchemist fires, no problem at all.
He just stole the Ambassador's liquor cabinet and used that.
Fair.
It was a horrible vintage anyway.
Undrinkable, so you used it as a tool. Yeah.
Well, it really had that taste of unwashed feet.
Maybe the
Very
ambassador-
uncivilized, he says.
Obviously, the ambassador likes that.
Well, I don't know, it's just a good wine.
Oh no, I believe it was his family vineyard.
Yeah.
Right. So he's just used to it. Sigh.
No comment.
Many sigh.
Quite alcoholic though.
Yeah.
Very flammable. Nice, pretty blue flames.
Oh dear.
Mr. Price, the volatile oils and the various bits of the shrubbery made it really pretty.
All sorts of fun for distilled wine. Hello, Therian. What are you doing there?
He's just having his wander around to see what everyone else is doing.
Yes. Check that.
I expect him will be looking towards the wall and covering some other that and
So,
Well, I'm bringing up the rear.
somewhat would be like in response to part of the back going to the maze when
yeah.
Jimmy was suggesting we should be on our way. He questioned him so we've got an observer.
He might be useful as a guide as well. He's been out to the island. The ambassador keeps attempting to pay him to go there.
Having burned hedge down several times,
Yeah.
maze down several times, he kind of knows his way through it.
Well, that's the maze as well. The island is the thing we need. Yeah. So this this
You know,
this
this gentleman?
upstanding young gentleman here.
Young gentlemen, I'm a halfling. And a pirate. And proud.
And not particularly
This young,
upstanding.
this young gentlemanly pirate.
He can live with that.
Who are you calling young?
He's younger than me.
Yes, I am less than 60 years of age. I'm still a younger.
Yes.
Still got all my own teeth, mostly.
Except for the ones that have been knocked out.
Or no, the ones you replaced with someone else's.
They would be the pointy ones.
I know all his teeth are pointy.
Restoration is such a wonderful spell.
But I am...
Yes. So if we go and collect the ambassador's notes from his pit.
I'm sure he's been working on interesting stuff, as always.
So I should wear
Okay.
gloves then.
You know and trust him and wish him to come along?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay. From the appearances on the outside, it certainly would seem that jumping over the back wall of the maze will be the easiest way to access the house. Anyway, apparently there's no need to forget the house.
He says there's a tunnel connecting the well to the house, if that is your intention. Though it does lead directly into the barracks of the legionnaires.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that would require a distraction if we were to use it.
That's true.
It was more a case of the access route with the most coverage to actually get across the house. So, and so if we only need to find a certain well in the middle of the maze to see if we go wells anyway, then even easier.
Yes.
So, the intent will be to take the group around to the most effective entry point that he was able to find,
Yes.
and then go over the. If there's actually area of the heads that's more readily like actually head rather than grass covering it all,
Yeah.
then possibly a slow, quiet swipe with the preservative blade might scare the plants away from it enough to make a nice entrance way. But
Your sword's going to make this rather easier than it would have been otherwise.
But obviously, if it's basically more just ivy attack to a trellis, then
Yeah, that's true.
it's not going to do much to the trellis. So, either way, yes, I'm not. It's not going to be all that difficult.
Yeah.
He does suggest picking up the trellis and then moving it slightly so you can create an opening. But he said the ambassador is a genius in designing, he says.
So you have a long list of all the faults.
Well, he did put it down as in the ambassador's writing for him to build it that way.
That's fair. Really good and useful way to do that.
We'll also had him choose this particular plot of land to build on.
You've been playing with this a long time, haven't you?
Halflings never forget, he says.
Yeah. But yeah, well, sorry. If the plants are not even joined to the ground enough to actually mean that the trellis can be moved, well, that's also an option. But I figure that it's probably just as easy to go over the back wall initially, and then with the intent of following one of the false trails until it gets somewhere close to the middle, and then we can just go through the wall and or over most effectively.
He does say that if you move the trellises, you can avoid all the traps. Well, that's up to you. Whichever way you prefer is fine with him.
I think moving the trolls sounds like
They do.
But a big strapping man like yourself, I'm sure, will be able to survive anything the may throw at you.
Of course, what are the corridor widths in the base?
They're about 2.5 feet wide, so you're always squeezing down the hedges.
And so, what size is your boots at the present time?
10 feet.
So, if we are all attempting to go through the maze, then obviously chocolate has to become kind of bit smaller.
Yes.
she could just watch from here and laugh.
As it's stated, everyone has to accompany.
Yeah.
I wasn't being serious. You were saying if she wants to come, it's obviously she's coming. Obviously she will change her size. She's not that impractical. She has done a few of these jobs before.
Yeah.
As you're heading towards the hedges, he does tell a tale of how one time he had a bunch of his friends sneak in overnight and hide in the hedges. And when the ambassador had challenged someone to sneak in, they made every other entryway go straight to the center except the ambassador's. But not until after he'd accepted the challenge.
Yes.
Of course. No fun otherwise.
And given orders.
One of the few times that he's actually seen the ambassador confused about how things didn't work out for him.
So the ambassador was confused when his hedge maze just happened to burn down.
Well, he was less confused then. He thought someone was just playing being spiteful for his business dealings. Because given a chance, he will cheat you outrageously. Especially when it comes to getting permits to travel through Thyatian that mean you will be instantly turned into a captive. It's a please enslave me visa pass. So you pay him for the pass, and then they pay him when they enslave you.
I thought that was no longer took slaves, or is that?
The captives.
It's Karamikos that no longer takes slaves.
Apologies.
They used to be a Thyatian protectorate, and now they're just in the middle of breaking free of Thyatian after all this time.
Yeah. They negotiated a treaty through Wednesday. See, another occasion where Dimitri was able to help.
So we get
Hey boys.
get to the centre of the maze, I'm assuming.
But he's happy to watch your big, dark and brooding leader lead you through the maze as he follows behind.
Yeah, let's go. As a labyrinth priest, moving walls unnecessarily is kicking out the religion. So, yeah, so he would prefer to go through the whatever one we're in and avoiding track appropriately until we can find a spot close to the centre.
Yeah.
Then go through it. And like you said, he'll be supporting also the idea of moving quietly by providing tumbleweed for Father Hat. So
Is there
Father Hat
any
uses the
reason
same golf ball as Dracnima.
And what was that area?
Uh,
Okay, it takes you about half an hour to navigate the maze.
Mm-hmm.
Which you realise is less than a body's length from where you came in.
Okay.
Just watching the views as we wander around. It's like it's impressive. You get lost when you could have shut us the easy way. But yes.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
Dracnima is disappointed at the fact that it is only a single path designed to be particularly twisted to turn and come back on itself. So,
Yeah.
and that the maze is a lie. It was never meant to be fair. Even Dracula is having these urges to burn the place down.
I've never overgrown.
and then, yeah, so if we can find a wall that happens to be like technically the wall between us and the centre, then we will hopefully minimum damage by getting if that wall is easily movable and turn it around as we come through. So,
It is easily movable. You can even just lift up the bottom and crawl underneath.
Yes.
I thought you said all the traps were underneath.
The traps are along the pathways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He's just shown us the cheat codes.
I thought Dracnima was leading us, and
Dracnima was.
Asta was standing back and observing.
But the only way in was to cheat.
Because that's
yeah.
Ambassador does stuff.
Unless you walk all the way around to the building side and walk in down the lit path.
Which way not? Because that would kind of be obvious.
So, it's preferable to be avoided. So, and yeah, Dracnima is fairly confident he can avoid any traps that might be on the dead end pathways.
Okay, so I will give
so, yeah.
Dracnima a perception roll as he's leading you through the maze. There's always a chance.
Always.
Yep. So, well, passive perception is 32, but the specific roll, significantly better. 16, 22, 36.
Okay, you can just tell how terrible some of these traps are, having gotten 20 points over the difficulty. And most of the traps are...
I feel like it should have been more difficult. I'm worried that it seems too easy.
And all the traps are designed to be loud and obnoxious. And potentially splatter the person with stainable berries.
Have they just
It's the point of being that the ambassador doesn't want any of the people competing against him in maze to actually get hurt or dead during their competitions. So he doesn't want them embarrassed.
still feel like it's too easy?
Well, he says the real traps aren't above ground.
Fair enough.
So we get to the centre, we find this well. What are we looking at with the well?
So the well has a metal door padlocked on top of it.
And we're talking like a circular brick wall or something like that, 4 feet high with a metal top on it.
You would say it's brick, except you can tell it is wood with brick stenciling on the outside and possibly some plaster to make it look more brick-like.
Okay. And what does the lock on the metal door look like?
Looks fairly decent for a lock.
Mm-hmm. The
Looks like he put more money into the lock than he did the hedge.
mm-hmm. We'll take a look for traps around the head, the well, and the lock. Yeah.
What is your perception roll?
Bang plus 28.
Okay, so you can tell there seems to be some sort of trigger on the well that if you manage to open the lid without unlocking the padlock, it would probably set it off.
Mm-hmm.
And that the padlock itself is also a trap.
Of course.
Because it looks as if it is more of a puzzle than a lock.
Cool.
As it's designed to move, and the keyhole itself is not the real keyhole.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm presuming your lockpicking
The,
skills are up to scratch.
Yep. We'll aim to disable the trap on the well itself before looking towards the lock. 25 on blind hand, isn't it? Is that the appropriate?
Thieves' tools
Oh,
normally.
no, sorry, no, it's actually it's using thieves tools, isn't it? Sorry. With these slightly somewhat better than that then. Just that will be. In which case it's 29.
Okay, as you're working on that, you do believe you have managed to disable the trap.
Okay. We'll then take a bit of a better look at the lock then and if we can decipher the puzzle or
See what comes up.
using the theme tool still to actually unpick it. Great. But
Okay, so while you're working on that, Asta sort of draws Father Pat's attention to a fake brick on the well.
Points out said brick. Father Pat. He's not going to push said brick. So he's just pointing out saying, have you noticed this? Is this what he's doing, or?
Well, he's sort of, miming pushing the brick.
Father Pat looks at him sort of quizzically, sort of saying, why?
No boom today, boom tomorrow.
Using that to disable the trap is probably worth it.
Okay, Father Pat will push the brick.
Dimitri missed it by one. Sorry, Dracomir missed it by one.
I'll push the brick.
Useful click.
You don't hear the click.
That's what worries me.
A good trap, you don't know if you're disarmed or not.
It didn't go boom.
Didn't go boom in my face. Whether it boomed somewhere else, we don't know.
Jeremy, you're lock picking.
Is 31.
Okay, so the lock comes off without a sound,
Mm-hmm.
and you're able to lift up the lid, noticing that 2 vials of liquid have what appears to be a small divider between them, stopping them connecting. Right where Father Pat pushed in the block.
Yep. Nice. Good skill.
What are we seeing down the well?
Down the well, you see a nice metal ladder on a stone well, which is surprising considering everything outside doesn't look stone.
No.
Looks like he's gone to a bit of effort to make it look fake.
So they spend a lot of time making what look fake?
The well.
It'd make the outside look like brick and stuff.
And on the inside, sorry?
On the inside, it looks to be actual stone where...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is the best built part of the entire compound.
Potentially, it's the idea that the parts that weren't designed to be seen,
Oh yeah.
we put money on
Yeah.
to then help maintain the illusion of inadequacy with all the other aspects.
The ladder looks well maintained, doesn't have any rust on it, which is not bad considering how close you are to the ocean.
And how big is the well?
The well is a 10-foot diameter circle.
I'm presuming the lead is varnished or something. The only way to never work.
It is quite a...
Yeah.
it looks to be a well maintained, even has like fresh oil on the wood of the ladder.
Cool. Yeah. The only bit is obviously got.
Make you look to see the apparent cracks on the ladder.
Yeah.
It's a fortunate goal.
Well, you'd expect the ladder is quite flammable,
Yeah.
hence the mixture right next to it.
Yep. Okay, so 22 on protection. Looking for cracks on the ladder. Obviously, yes, it's flammable. Did you notice any cracks on the ladder?
Besides the fact that you'll get whatever oil is used to maintain it on your feet and hands, even if you're wearing gloves or get on the gloves.
Prestidigitation.
That will help get rid of most of it.
Yep. Yeah, if we want to clean the oil off so we don't get any on us, the two of us could just clean it all off.
You see Asta pull out a pair of what look to be military gloves.
Mm-hmm.
A bit too big for his hands, but it's heavy.
In fact, we were planning on just going down the wall anyway rather than actually using the ladder, so how deep is the well?
Sorry, just trying to do 2 voices at once. The well looks like it's about 15 feet deep, not very deep, and area casting reduce on the gloves won't help much.
Okay, I don't worry about it.
It will only last a short time and you'd have to concentrate on it. He says they're not his gloves anyway, so he's not too worried.
We circumvented the need for my orb, so I've got room to concentrate.
And what's at the bottom of the well?
He says that would be a good question because that changes on a regular basis.
Okay, look, looking in there, what can we see at the bottom of the well?
Asking the GM, what is down there right now?
At the moment, it is a shimmering darkness.
So presumably dark vision doesn't see through it?
Dark vision sees it as inky blackness.
So presumably magical darkness.
So I'm trying to think which group was it that was dealing with some inky blackness sheets across doorways in the previous one? when we're down at the bottom of that. No, it was this group, wasn't it? That was down at the bottom of the
Lani's temple.
Lani's temple.
Yes.
So.
GM will poke Calcrix and go, hey,
Oh, you don't
have
need to
spells for
poke
this.
Calcrix. Calcrix
Yes.
is waiting for the rest of the group
Yeah.
because she's been
Not
just been
try,
waiting.
try not to be too impulsive.
No, she's just
Yeah.
been waiting. For
Calcrix, your spells would probably be more useful than mine in this situation.
I don't know. We had this whole conversation about this orb that I have.
Mm-hmm.
That I could send an eye forward
Yep.
and
That sounds
see
like a really good plan.
things. It could go quite a distance, apparently. We all considered it rather helpful, and then it was dismissed rather suddenly. Could be useful now.
I don't remember dismissing it.
It was dismissed a lot earlier on.
I
Anyway.
still don't remember
No,
dismissing it.
It wasn't dismissed. It was merely the fact that we weren't doing pathways that needed to be investigated before we got here until now. So,
Anyway, she'll send the eye forward and see what it
the only concern that Crackdown would put before you actually send the eye through this apparent inky blackness is whether or not you're happy to send it through the inky blackness before testing something that's less valuable.
It's up to you guys. She's not used it before. She doesn't know if it'll survive or not survive.
It
Don't
should,
have
I-
another way of testing it.
He wasn't able to eat it. He
Eve
tried.
hasn't-
That's a
Eve
good
hasn't
test.
eaten it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just sent
Well,
it through.
Yeah, I doubt this sort of setup. He's going to have a dimensional portal or something really unpleasant there. It's just going to be darkness.
It's going to be understand. So Jack's happy to climb down the wall inside the well and basically try to poke your stick through initially just to see if it's going through. But he's certainly more than happy if people are happy to try and send the eye through.
Okay, so as you activate the eye, you can see that the inky blackness looks like illusionary sludge.
I'll inform them that it's
Illusionary
just illusionary sludge.
Meaning
Can
that
I-
unless you know to disbelieve, it will be sludge.
Right.
Can
If
I
you
see what's actually there?
It leads down to
No,
a
Thank you.
passageway
We like these things.
underneath where it heads towards the main building of the estate, and
Right.
you can see lights and lanterns that do not consume materials, so magical lights. But fairly cheap and mundane versions of it.
I'll explain both that you have to disbelieve in the sludge.
Yeah.
Lack of faith is not serving in this case. And give them an idea of the path that you just set out of.
Okay, I shall give Drachdamar a wisdom saving throw. Can he disbelieve? It's a great thing about illusions.
Probably gonna
Turning
teach.
illusions into know.
24.
24. Okay, you can now see through the sludge.
Okay.
Dragon is right. That would have been rather unfortunate because it was literally a sludge material that would have trapped you had you fallen in it.
Right.
Because the eye
Ah.
has
Glue
a
or
true
tar.
seeing capacity on it as well. That's why it can tell all that.
Might be interesting if I would have to poke with a stick first of all. So,
Well, you could also see all the traps.
presumably would have got to be sticking inside.
True enough. You might have lost your stick until you disbelieved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Dragon will climb down the inside of the wall. He's not going down the ladder at this stage. He's going down the wall, and he'll then also be take a bit of a look on the way down, just to check out to see if there's any other secret passages or things like that that come off separate from the bottom of the well. Because if this is apparently where he potentially keeps the creatures we're looking for, then it doesn't look like there's a bottom there, so maybe there's a secret compartment in the wall well. Because obviously the well itself is dry, so...
Okay, as you're checking, there doesn't seem to be any compartments down the length of the wall until you're about halfway down, in which case you find that there is circular compartments that sound like they're full of liquid.
Right.
And have a tar sort of smell to them.
Sorry,
How deep was the well, when we just believe the sludge, how deep was the well in actuality?
It was about 25 feet, so another 10 feet down. Enough that someone standing in there would be inside the sludge.
Right.
Yeah. And these big compartments with some potentially or likely explosive liquids
At the sludge level.
effectively at the level of the sludge. Yeah.
So you wouldn't find them unless the sludge was disbelieved.
Yeah.
Which is a rather effective trap. Most people would never be able to see through it.
Yes.
Yes. It's not appear to actually hold compartments that would provide the special items that we're looking for.
No, you would expect these would definitely be a part of the trap above, setting fire to everything if someone was to trigger the trap.
Yeah.
It was due to my pushing of the brick, we did not set off.
Apparently,
Get down to the-
Exactly. based on the sample set of 100% success. What more can you ask for?
Well, continue climbing down then, be able to look through the passageway
Yeah.
from above.
And looking through the passageway, you can see that it slopes up into a room that has a couple of tables, a few bookshelves, all crammed full with loose paper and partly damaged books.
Mm-hmm.
And what appears to be a couple of maps up on the wall.
Does there appear to be anyone in the room?
Currently, there does not appear to be anyone in the room.
I will speak further forward then and take a look into get an idea of exactly how big this room is and whether there's any exits or entrances and confirm there's nothing in the room or no one in the room.
You can see that the passageway continues through the room to the other side as a clear way through the room itself. And on the other side, it
In fact,
leads
the
up
widening of the passage.
ends at a stone wall with a ring on this side for pulling it. Either side of the passageway where the room itself is where you'll find the table and the bookshelves, a table on each side, and it seems to have a section of wall dedicated to maps on each side.
Okay. I will head back to the bottom of the base of the well and indicate to the others that looks all clear at the second time. You can come down. and then move back on past the room to then be listening at the actually. Actually, no, you probably need to help Father Pat remain quiet till listening.
So would Father Pat like to make a wisdom saving throw?
Why can't we just hit something? Yeah. How many pluses can I add to this number?
Not enough.
No, I think with a 2, no. What am I? But on a more serious thing, what am I saving against? Because I might have ways to get out of this.
Illusion.
No.
Did you get advantage on the roll from the fact that there could at least 2 people tell him that they got the all clear? And
Well, he gets a check because he believes there's an illusion. If you don't believe there's an illusion, you don't get a check.
okay, well in that case then, when Jack Nimmer's getting back to the bottom of the well again and trying to indicate to the others that yeah, it's all clear, and realising that apparently they're not seeing him standing there at the bottom of the well, he'll climb back up through the entire sludge and come out clean, which hopefully will provide some better indication and justification for disbelieving.
So when it's up to an effect that would alter your behaviour, becoming charmed, confused or frightened, I can ignore it, but I don't think any of those apply, do they?
It's not charmed, confused, or frightened.
Okay.
It'd be more restrained.
Well, then we have another way. We can skin this cat a different way. Hang on.
Right. Because we can. It's a herald. We might be able to get away with this number. There are many ways.
Is anyone else having trouble seeing through the illusion at the present time?
Would Calcrix like to make a wisdom saving throw?
Does she need to, having used the
Oh, that's right. You don't need to.
Yeah.
You can literally see through it.
Although technically she has true scent ointment that she could put on the eyes of everybody else.
You could do that on Father Pat as a way to get him down.
I was trying to suggest it earlier, but it's hard to judge when everyone's speaking. I can just put the true scent ointment on Pat's eyelids, and he would be able to see all the traps and would see the illusion.
Just out of curiosity, what does his leg look like?
Your leg.
Well, new leg.
It looks more boxy.
So I just wonder if there's anything hidden on that that I might want to know about beforehand. Not the sharpest knife in the drawer, Father Pat.
I'm going to need some help with this thing.
Calcrix will offer you some ointment as well, Lord.
Ooh, I will take advantage of that. Thank you very, very much.
It smells of saffron.
Ooh, cool. So yes, though she would have to wait until one of you gets through before casting it on the other.
Okay. Is it a cast?
It's
What's the casting?
It's a concentration to
True sight.
maintain.
Okay, alright.
And
okay.
because it's a concentration, you can only maintain one at a time.
Okay.
And once they're
Fair enough.
through, they're technically safe.
Yeah.
That,
At which point you
that's
can
all.
switch it to the next person.
Okay, so you make it down into the underground tunnel.
Cool.
What was Father Pat's alternate way of doing it?
Sorry?
Did you have an alternate way of bypassing
No, I
it?
just looked at prophetic protection, which is when narrator makes a sweet charisma check about finding a trap.
Yeah, nice.
I'm wondering, did you know about that, or was it not?
Okay, so you do see that there are 2 main maps of interest here. One map is showing the war between Alphatia and Thyatis. And it's not going well for the Thyatians. Even with the Alphatian Sky Fleet decommissioned, with a rather big burning day.
This is not an interpretation of the current war. Not even someone's propaganda system.
As it's basically stating that unless Thyatis throws all of its forces from every territory into the war effort, they will maybe last the year. And there's and by the looks
That's
of
what we can do about it.
and by the looks of things, they are literally throwing everything at it.
Well, they have to at this point.
It's basically a do or die thing,
Yeah.
and they're losing.
And technically, Thyatian is the side that is on the side of what we consider the known world.
It's trying to stop the Thyatians from coming in and killing everyone, so they're dead if they don't.
Yes.
And it looks like they're dead if they do.
Despite the fact that, yes, we did manage to at least slow the Thyatians and limit their effects by destroying their skyship.
They do expect that they may be able to, if all goes well, hopefully deadlock them on the Isle of Dawn. But that may only last for 5 or 10 years before Thyatian is reduced to nothing.
To remind me, the Alphatians are the Roman type.
They're more the Greek type.
So they're
The Alphatian Empire is more Greek, who really focus on magic being the source of all things. They're more Roman,
The Romans,
believe in military might through sword and shield.
Yeah.
The Alphatians are on the master side, Thyatians are technically against them.
Well, the Alphatians are on the side of Ixion, which is trying to destroy Galantry. And everyone.
Technically, the master is on the side of himself.
And the Thyatians are on the side of protecting Galantry, because by protecting Galantry, they protect themselves.
Yeah.
Because once Alphatia is in the region, they won't leave.
But
So
Ixion
the
does
Haitian,
support the
I'm
master,
basically sitting
No,
on
the
the
Ixion has nothing to do with the master.
doesn't he?
No.
Okay.
So the Haitians are the descendants of the fighters.
The Haitians are one of the tribes of Thyatian who spread out where they were colonizing all the regions. And so that's why Darakan, Irendi, Karamikos, and Galantry are made up of peoples that include the Thyatian people, as well as the Traldar, as well as a few other of the different human tribes.
Yeah.
So they're the people who were left outside of the Empire when the Empire retreated.
So whilst Final Path is not a stunning genius, is there anything in there, you know, these are obviously notes on military logistics and things like that, can you cast his eye over them? Do they appear to be a reasonable assessment of what he knows to be going on?
You didn't know their war was this big.
Right, okay.
It sort of makes what's happening in Darakan look like a small skirmish.
Right. But there's nothing that suggests it's not an unrealistic estimate of what's going on.
Looks like it's very real, very scary.
And you're talking about the Thyatian ambassador here, so presumably he's not providing false information for his own benefit or what's going on.
Maybe, that's what I'm trying to work out. You know?
It does look as if he has notes for all the various ambassadors about convincing them to assist in their war. At least they also fall. And he hasn't managed to gain any ground because everyone distrusts him.
I mean, ambassadors have been known to spin yarns to support their own outcomes.
Of course.
Yeah.
And he hasn't also notes down that he won't share his intel because basically he's afraid that if they know how bad it is for the Thyatians, they will turn on the Thyatians. And if they turn on the Thyatians, then the Thyatian army will just expand. And Alphatia will take the region just like that.
And to be fair, the other reason why people are not actually interested in helping the Thyatians right now, even if they were friendly, the master is apparently the more immediate threat.
Oh yeah, he's definitely an immediate threat.
It-
The thing is, a lot of people
In the
don't care
sense
about
that the Thyatians can potentially hold off the Alphatians for at least another 12 to 24 months.
Yeah.
Does this evidence even suggest that's possible?
Does seem that is possible. And that they are provoking the Vikings of the Northern Reaches to try to bring them into the war.
Now, would it be worthwhile getting a copy of this stuff to appropriate people?
Calcrix is already scribbling a copy of everything that she can see on the map.
It would definitely be of interest to even Drazzle if he was with you.
Which is
Cool.
why Calcrix is scribbling a copy.
Because this is the sort of
Yeah.
information he's been collecting from all the other nations.
Fair.
And also, obviously, what we're doing interested in.
Yeah. Does he have a bunch of blank paper here?
He
Or
does.
parchment? Cool.
He has lots of it. Apparently, there's a lot of stuff working on here. The other section of things he has is he has a big map of on an island with tides, currents,
Now,
outposts, ship sightings.
Calcrix, I'm about to do something that might save a bunch of time for both of us.
She's going to continue making an exact copy of the map.
Cool.
She knows that you can copy things. She's happy for
Yeah.
you to do that.
Martin. Big pile of paper. Good quality
question
components,
before-
correct?
Question before you
Yep.
do this.
Yep.
If Calcrix copies this into her journal, which is protected from legend lore, but he makes a copy, and someone casts legend lore, will they have access to this information?
Not if it's in my bag.
Do they already have access to this information?
The stuff is already written down on normal paper, so
Yeah.
The fact that it's written down means a legend law should be able to discover it.
So it's not protected.
It's not protected at
Yeah.
this stage.
Because
If,
Any notes you make on top of things would be protected.
Yeah, it's the originals they've got access to.
Yeah.
So our copies don't matter.
yeah, no, I just wanted to check because Calcrix could copy all the information down and then start a fire.
So you do see Astor making some corrections here and there on the logistics and
Calcrix
suggestions.
will make a note of all the corrections.
Apparently, he's
Yeah.
changing the offers that the guy is thinking of making to all the ambassadors. Basically, putting him as more generous on paper.
Right.
Yeah. But good load of paper and ink, which means there's supplies, which means I can do fabricate and do a copy.
It also causes a Xerox smell. Sorry. We'll let that one go.
Just over here, just done.
Xerox smell or the old
The old radio, the midnight spirits.
the spirits one.
Yes, and they come out purple.
Which one are you copying? The war effort or the on our island? Two different sets of stuff.
I'm entirely fine with doing two casts.
Okay, so
Or
you
doing one of everything together.
you end up with they're each on separate sides of the hallway with their own dial.
Fair enough. So yeah, I copied that item and that item
So
and boom.
the second set of maps is
About on an island and about how it is built around a volcano that has an active connection to the plane of fire.
Which means it's stupid hot lava.
And that is powering the furnaces that build the Arendi military. Run by dwarves, gnomes, and fire mages.
gnomes,
So
you
you
say.
can see why they protect it.
is
No.
Father Pat specifically doing anything at the moment?
Father Pat is has been studying the Thyatian battle plans.
In order to understand.
And
Mhm.
apparently they were counting on Karamakos protecting their flanks.
Yes.
So much so that they have almost emptied the homeland of troops.
That's That's beyond serious.
It is very, very serious.
Fortunately for them, it's not like Carmichael's is planning on attacking them.
Well, yeah.
Technically, it protects the flanks on the fact that, hey, it's going to go through Carmichael's from that direction.
Yes.
But it doesn't protect them from the north, which is what
No.
the treaty with Karamikos suggests that they should be doing.
Yes.
Stopping the Yalarum from taking their country. Because of all the stuff they've done to the other countries, they've done the same thing to the Yalarum.
Yep.
If you poke everyone with a stick, the moment you're not looking, they may come back and poke you back.
Yes. If you're really bad, all of them at once.
So by the looks of things, the ambassador has literally been trying to make amends to all the other ambassadors and nations in the last 4 years. They've been throwing whatever they can in ways of apology to every nation.
Yeah.
Agrax actually feels sorry for this guy.
Well, he's not the only ambassador doing it. Apparently all the ambassadors have been tasked with apologising profusely for everything Thyatian may have done or may have to do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, given what they've been doing, it's going to take them a decade.
Oh, probably.
Well,
Yeah, decade more.
So while they're doing that, if they don't stand back, we'll double check on the rock wall length and way and confirm that there's none coming through. You'll have a look if you can find any, if there's any minor holes or things like that, that the ice stalk might be able to fit through. And so therefore, if there was,
Yeah.
it could be set up and then we can have a bit of a monitoring on the outside, going from beyond the door, while papers and copy map and things. But if there's not, then you'll volunteer to just stay on the rock wall there, listening carefully.
Yeah.
There is a crackling noise coming from the other side of the wall. There are plenty of places you can put a sensor through. The wall on the end is actually on wheels, so you can pull
Which wall are we talking
the wall with a ring on it at the end of the hallway that is said to connect into the barracks of the Centurions.
Basically, Dimmock aiming to ensure that when he discovered, there's warning. He certainly not interested in trying to open the door by pulling on the wing directly and drawing it back across like a sliding door with the wheels.
Yeah.
But yes, as you said, he could hear some noises on the other side, and did a scan to put noises you might expect on a group of people hanging around the barracks. Getting some rest.
Give me a perception roll to see what you can pick up.
I was going to say, I thought you said he heard a crackling.
You did hear a crackling as well. Okay.
I wanted to just go back, because we moved on really quickly. You said the second set of maps related to on an island, how it's built around a volcano, and then I missed everything else.
Okay, so it's built around the volcano. It has a portal to the plane of fire, and it seems to be a working group between gnomes, dwarves, and fire mages, which is not a normal pairing of any sort. Gnomes and dwarves working together are only known to happen in Karamikos. And dwarves working with mages is not known anyway. They have no natural mages.
No.
Having a good resistance to magic,
Do help.
which is why healing magic is only half as effective against them. And
So fire mages specifically?
fire mages specifically.
Thanks.
Yeah. and they do have connections with Galantry. Noting down that the council member does have long distance conversations with the mages of that nation.
That you would.
Did you say
Well,
the ambassador?
No, not the ambassador, the council member.
Council person.
The representative for Honor Island studied in Galantry and has connections back
Is
there
this
still.
the same council person who's looking at switching up to 5th level
Yes,
fire mage?
that's that one. Rumored to be a actual fire genasi known as the Flamish.
Of course.
Known as the what?
Flamish versus the Thyatians, who were mainly the air genasi. All their leadership are air genasi.
Yes. So if the fire guy's Flemish, if you were Flemish, would you be wet?
Yeah. It's the equivalent of the Flemish guy from Francia.
Yeah. Yes. Sigh.
And we do have those in there. Apparently the headmaster of the Great School of Magic is descended from the water genasi from France.
As well as being someone we rescued from there. Ish.
Though most people don't recognise it as such. Though he is quite long lived for what appears to be human.
Yes. Well, he's way more than they think he is.
So, Jack, I got 36 listening at the wall door.
Okay, you do hear them having a conversation about the escape routes for the nobility out of Thyatis, and if any, which of their ambassador lodges still maintain a teleport circle for that purpose. Noting down that the Darrakan one has been shut down.
Does it have the pattern for said teleport circle?
Darrakan does have a pattern, but they have disabled it because of the Thyatians being able to use it to bypass everyone.
Yeah. Well, there's a war on. You turn it off.
And
Yeah.
the Galantrian one has also been shut down for the same purpose.
So you
Is it-
said the escape routes were out of Thyatis?
Out of Thyatis city for all the nobility to escape should Alphatia win.
Yeah.
They're doing all their planning sessions and having a ambassadorial discussion via magic, talking about.
Of course. Coincidentally, that also has the advantage that it stops the master using their teleportation
Well, yes.
systems. So.
They seem to be less worried about the master and more worried about the.
Oh yeah.
Because they're idiots.
Well, for them, with their big threat is Alphatia.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah,
if
well,
they turn
the-
their back
the
on it,
market-
then they fall.
Yes.
Our base is a lot closer to them as far as compared to the master. So
Well, yeah. They're both idiots. But hey, they've been at each
they-
other's throats since forever, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Well, okay, Jack, we'll stay there listening to confirm that we're not going to have to interrupt it. While he's there, he'll just quietly put in a couple of small wedges to ensure the door doesn't actually open. If someone would usually try to do it.
And you do hear him talking about logistics, where he has reduced his staff down to 20, with a lot of his and all the other ambassadorial staff being recalled back to the war effort. And he's mainly got green troops.
Oh dear.
All those who are too injured to serve on the front line.
Well, I have an indication, like I said, I was thinking initially that this was going to be just more Barrackman conversations talking about hearing some of the Atruaghians. But it sounds like the ambassador himself might be in the barrack chatting to his men, or is he chatting to someone else, or?
It seems that the ambassador is chatting to the ambassadors of the other Thyatian embassies around the world.
Yeah.
In this room.
In this room, by magic.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it seems that the
Telephony system.
and that the main building of the palace is actually underground, and the above structure is basically all for show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Pretty
if
on
they've
the
got this-
outside, but not actual
Yeah.
useful.
If they've got this down here, I'm not entirely surprised they've done it, the rest of it.
And that they're wondering if they can get enough of their people out to still be considered a nation.
That. Yes. How to be a state in exile.
Well, they're not even sure that the people will survive as a people.
Yeah.
They're
Well, that's what I'm saying.
losing too many people on the front lines.
Yeah.
Let's face it,
Something has to happen
as
to the other guys.
I think it was Dimitri who made comments some time ago, this idea, yeah, we're dealing with this week's apocalypse.
Yeah, and so they also talk about how they've emptied all their jails. As of this year, all their prisons are empty, having conscripted everyone.
Sent prisoners to the front lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Partly why they've lost so many people is the troops haven't been reliable.
Well,
Yeah.
yes. When you're down to green troops and convicts.
And the talk that their armies are spread across the entire length of the Isle of Dawn.
Which spreads them out a lot.
Yeah. They could probably stop the north or the south, but they couldn't stop both.
Yeah.
Caprix is going to make a note about the Isle of Dawn and what help and aid they might be able to, she might be able to discuss with Drazzle Redrian.
Presumably that's making notes after you finish making all the notes,
Yeah.
or the copy you can hear, and when we get back, and Nimmer can actually talk about what he heard.
Well, Caprix shares a journal with Drazzle. So what goes in her secret journal goes with Drazzle.
Yeah, that's the point is that right now, Calbrix is copying down the notes of the maps.
Yeah.
Notes on the Thyatian ambassador
All those
will be afterwards.
able
Yeah.
to see the screen.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Here,
Yes.
you can actually see that the small area here is basically what Thyatian is for most of you.
Yeah.
This little bit down here, you guys are over here.
Yeah.
And this is the Isle of Dawn. And half of that
Talking.
is Alphatian side, the other half is Thyatian side.
Yeah.
And they're talking that they have brought people from as far as the Jungle Coast into the battle, and people from Norwell into the battle, and basically they pretty much taken every naval ship they have, military and non-military, and brought it in.
Yeah.
Okay. So Thyatian is mainly this little spot here. You guys are over here.
We're
At the
on
moment.
Erendy.
Erendi Island,
Yeah.
in Erendi. These islands here are Erendi, the islands are Minrathat. The Isle of Dawn is this island here. The very centre of it is considered no man's land, and said to be the home of dinosaurs,
Yeah.
Right.
as well as a
Because there are some dinosaurs there, not just on the Isle of Dread.
yes, as well as a supposedly artifacts of unusual power
Of course.
that they have called lovingly the Tome of Horror, as in a place adventurers go to die because they can't get them.
Yes. Great way to loot a lot of adventurers' kit.
And so Alphatia is this nation, plus, so this one big one here, plus this one, plus half of from this line backwards here, as well as half of the Isle of Dawn and the islands down here. So, for a landmass in that region, they have far more landmass at their disposal than Thyatian has there.
Huge resources. Thyatian has got to be incredibly capable if they can hold off the Alphatian forces at all.
If the Alphatians had their skyships, it would be over.
Well, yeah.
And what was your question?
For reference, if they're even on there, where would say Darrakan or the Isle of Dread be?
So the Isle of Dread is literally just here.
Right.
Darrakan would be just about here.
Okay.
So that is just, I think, the bit kind of to the...
So this
Yeah, so
this little bit of land here is where the Haitian homeland
Yeah,
is, whereas the Thyatian core is just above it.
yeah.
And then Thyatian is also half of the Isle of
Half the Isle of Dread, Oceania, the Jungle Coast,
Okay.
and Pearl Islands here.
Yeah.
So all that.
And
that's
remember,
why the
technically,
archipelago that the Isle of Dread is part of is technically part of their
Yeah.
region of influence.
and remember, technically all of the area, well, the vast area of the known world, i.e. Derek and Karanikos, everywhere like that, was Thyatian territory until effectively they gained or were granted independence.
Forced out the Thyatian people.
Yeah.
Whereas 1,000 years beforehand, in the year 0, is when the Thyatians forced the Alphatians out of the region.
Right.
So this whole region used to belong to the Alphatians. So there is
Want it all back.
well, they're here to. Their version is to blast the region.
Yes. They're happy to take out this relatively small patch of the world in order to save the world.
In their view.
Who's happy to take out which part of the world?
The Alphatians.
The Alphatians
Oh,
are looking to do a lot of damage, whereas the dragons are located in the mountain range up here. So they're in the periphery of the wall, but they haven't joined the wall on either side.
Well, aside from the fact that there are now crystal gemstone dragons constructing ballista in Darrakan.
They seem to be seeing the Master as a worse threat than the two Empire Nation war.
So they're dealing with this week's apocalypse.
And he has been noting down that there seems to be an unofficial alliance between the Haldanic territories and Thyatian, as the Haldanic warbirds have been causing enough of a problem for the Alphatian ships that they haven't been able to field a sky fleet to protect them.
So it was between the
Haldanic knights
Knights and the
with their warbirds,
Alphatians.
and they have been doing guerrilla strikes against Alphatian interests. Which, considering they're all supposed to be paladins and clerics.
Yeah. Yes.
So, there are a couple of notes in there about no one seems to be acting true to their nature. The Thyatians aren't this altruistic.
No.
The Alphatians are not this bloodthirsty.
Well,
And
that's been going on since the beginning.
Well,
People are doing weird stuff.
Those two going head to head, they've been in
Yeah.
a Cold War for over 1,000 years.
Yeah, and now this comes up.
Yeah.
Sorry, who's
And-
been in a Cold War?
The Alphatian and the Thyatian empires.
Yeah,
So it's never got a hot war.
yeah.
And is
It
it
turned
the
into hot war basically instantly.
Yeah.
Alphatian airships they're harrying?
The Haldanic knights are harrying the Alphatian airships.
Yeah. I was
That's
just,
not enough of them to make a difference, and they are being kept out of the war by the Haldanic knights. And the Haldanic
Because of the
knights,
fact that Sorry, go on.
Haldanic knights are reputed to be holier than thou, virtuous people, are acting like spiteful children at this stage.
Yeah.
And it's
but also, as I said, they're net effect, even though they've got relatively few warbirds, the fact that the Alphatian lost like 90% of their airship fleet a few years ago,
Well,
Um,
he does note down that there's believed to be 36 Haldanic warbirds in total.
Yeah.
They cannot fill any more.
Yeah, and but the limited effect they've provided has been to actually counter the small fleet that Helvetia still had left and or stopping them putting new birds in the air.
That is correct. They've been suppressing them, but one bird per region is still spreading the Haldanic knights thin.
Absolutely.
It is rumoured that the Alphatians want to go and crush them completely and take them out of the war. But to do so
at a time.
would leave them open to the Thyatians.
Of course.
And if they just concentrate on the Thyatians, they're open to the Haldanics. So they're sort of
Yes.
caught between a rock and a hard place. And rumours are that there is the gnomes are trying to pull out of the war as they're being pulled into rebuilding the Alphatian sky fleet. But someone seems to be undermining them in Alphatia and getting their city ship back up and flying.
Would it be more accurate to say the gnomes are trying to pull out of the Alphatian war? Because they are.
The guy doesn't make a distinction between them.
Okay.
You're talking from the perspective of the
ambassador. That's okay.
not
That's what I
House
was
of War in
asking.
general. So he doesn't have any notes at all about the Darrican War.
Well, why would he? It's not one that's concerning him right now. His country, nation, culture, people are about to be destroyed. Or on
I
the
mean,
verge of being
although
destroyed.
presumably he would have been getting some intelligence reports about the Darrican War, just hadn't been paying attention to them.
He does have things saying concerned about what's happening in Darrican, but he doesn't have details.
Right.
Yeah.
Mainly because none of his agents ever returned. And the Darrican ambassador is gone missing.
From Irani?
The Darrican ambassador, the Thyatian Darrican ambassador has gone missing. So they don't have him in giving them information.
He's not involved in the current Ong's what we're looking for.
He's not in the current discussions with them.
Group communication call going on right now.
So Lowell would know that a majority of the ambassadors in Darrican City were taken out by Master's forces
Oh,
before
cool.
he came.
You know, take out leadership. Sort of thing you do.
He basically took out all the people who could pull in aid
Yeah.
and made it look like they were killed by the government.
Of course. How you do something like that.
So it's why Darrican didn't receive a lot of extra help to start with.
Yeah, because they didn't have me giving them help. Because I was busy.
And the Alfheim ambassador was basically not there to be assassinated. They jumped straight into the war. The dwarves didn't care because they weren't here for the ambassador until they got recalled home.
Yes.
And apparently the dwarves aren't speaking to the Thyatians either.
Yeah, well.
That's not unusual, but
No, well, Thyatians being Thyatians.
they sort of think they're the centre of the world.
Of course they do. The thing is, so does a lot of other people.
Whereas Alphatia sees itself as the centre of the world.
Yeah.
And to be fair, except from the same point of view, when we're talking the so-called known world, like the area around Philandry, Darrican, Kalamikos, Ryasia has a definite argument to be considered the centre of the world. So,
But we all know the centre of the world to me. Or possibly Calcrace.
No. She's happy not to be centre of the world. If she's the centre of the world, there's no time to drink coffee.
He does have a notation on there. It seems the key to get the dragons on their side is a white dragon.
Yeah.
Right.
Fate just walked into his planning room.
or mostly white dragon.
Oh, I didn't say his notes were accurate. His notes just say a white dragon.
Yeah.
So his notes say the key to getting the dragons on side is A white dragon?
He doesn't. He can't find out the name. Can't find out any information because none of the dragon community will discuss it.
Well, there's
Yeah.
always tomorrow morning at breakfast when Calcrix is thinking about turning up at his door with coffee. She's
You gotta-
thinking about it.
You got
But
to
the-
play with the ambassador's head, aren't you?
But the notes are more in the terms of kidnapping and ransoming.
Yeah, no, good luck with him trying to do that. Equally
not happening.
first.
Well, hey, you can sort of see how desperate the guy is by the
Yeah.
level of planning for inevitabilities.
Yeah, and most of it's. I think this might work if I can work out what I need to do for it, sort of thing.
And apparently, the getting to the Honor Island stuff is not for personal glory, but to figure out how to, for the Thyatians to build a better quality ship.
So just flat out industrial espionage.
Pretty much because they don't believe they will survive with their current fleet.
Yeah, well, probably true.
They've got about a 2-to-1 against them in just pure shipping.
Sounds like some cooperation is needed.
Yes.
If only the Darkans hadn't sent a whole bunch of people west to discover the Master's power base.
Well, it was either do that or do diplomacy. And we decided avoiding an existential threat was worth doing.
So you can sort of see how some of them have definitely been on the back foot. And that's why a lot of Thyatians are less arrogant than they were in the last few years.
There's truth in the saying divide and conquer, and the Master's doing that well.
Yeah.
The Masters are purely taking advantage of the fact that no one can really come to Darrakan's aid easily. Not without great loss elsewhere.
Yeah. Because now it's too late to call people in because they're busy.
Didn't count on 3 particular investigative parties employed by Regerin to stick spanners in the Master's works.
Yeah. Though you do believe that Nyx may have something to do with that on your behalf.
Oh,
Yeah.
As someone who's supposed to be on his team.
Yes.
Never treat someone badly when you can always treat them better. Is part of what Nyx's belief is.
Alright, so presumably we're able to copy the information we need.
Yes, you have
Yeah,
reams of data that you have put into books and maps and diagrams. And once you're finished, you do see Asta make a few extra notes in there to try to convince the ambassador to be far more giving with his donations to the other nations.
So tempting to add a line to his donations, but let's not do that.
Asta's already.
Asta's
I
more,
think
Asta's
Asta's already
more
done
than
that
willing
for
to
us.
add a line. He says if you have any suggestions, he'll add them.
I think he's adding zeros more than anything.
No, I was thinking add my town to his list of
Recipients.
Yeah. I think even the ambassador would notice that.
That might be a little overt, yes.
Yes. Who the fuck are these guys?
We're rounding it up from the to the nearest 5,000. However, it's an entirely different matter.
Though he is noting down amongst the things that White Dragon sighted in Darrakan City.
Mm-hmm.
White Dragon's been spotted in a lot of places.
Well, he's
Not
sort
exactly subtle.
of putting
Yeah.
emphasis on him going to Darrakan City.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. A white dragon of particular interest.
He
was seen in
need
Darrakan
only
City.
wait for more.
Yeah, there's that.
Because you have a feeling that it's not just the ambassador who writes these messages.
No.
Oh, true. Which means someone might write something, it get edited, and then he'd see it.
Yeah, so you could easily
Still
add your
tempting.
town.
I could add a spot for each of our domains.
But it
Yeah,
depends on.
Caprick's could do with an influx of funds to support the refugees she's got there.
Yeah.
And the work that they're doing towards.
I think you should just add a title for Lani, actually. If you want to give Lani another title. I ran into the so-and-so the other day.
I was going to say, I'm surprised Lani's not in these notes, to be honest. She's doing pretty well at keeping herself
Yeah.
off the books.
So a properly backed up and signed certificate from this government to Lani,
Yeah.
giving him another title.
Yeah, exactly.
Hero of Thyatian.
Something like that, yeah.
Admiral of their navy.
I'm not sure he could push
That
that.
one.
Though you do see a few
Commodore.
big errors in his thinking. He doesn't consider what's beneath the waves of interest.
Does that mean Calvix can add her own notes to Asta's saying, check out beneath the waves?
Probably, but he wouldn't have the capacity to do so.
Right.
Yes, but he could pass that.
He could talk to, I don't know, a certain empress of the oceans. right?
Yes.
Yes, but Asta is a little worried about giving the ambassador access to the underwater nations who are currently quarreling.
Yeah, that has its significant issues.
Yes, because there are many of them who would happily go to a war,
Yeah.
but cause many wars in the process.
Yeah, there's some there
These
that
things
are
are
also.
right.
Yeah.
They have their own trouble down there, he says.
Yeah.
But he could say
I was
something
never
about
gonna
the
write
Empress of the
anything
Waves
on-
should investigate.
I was never going to write anything
And be
on
paid
that
for the
place.
task.
He paid for the task, yes.
It wasn't easy.
Yes.
Though he does write in a send the Duke of Karamikos a congratulations on your new title note.
Duke of where?
Karamikos, who's in the middle of succeeding from Thyatis and declaring himself a kingdom,
King of Caramicus.
Yes.
while siding with Helvetia.
Right.
Yeah.
Siding with Alphatia is not a good sign.
But it does mean that they will not enter in the war between Thyatis and Helvetia.
Yeah.
Where is
And
where is
free
his
his
where is his
forces up.
kingdom?
Where's Karamikos?
Karamikos is, if I go back to
It's one of the central kingdoms of the known world.
Yeah, but we're looking for it on the map, not
Yeah.
just a description.
Yeah, basically, you had, if you know where Thyatian was, it was just slightly northwest of Thyatian.
Well, yeah, Martin's giving us the map, so
okay, so Karamikos is here,
yeah.
Thyatis is here.
Right, yeah.
So
Karamikos was the Grand Duchy of Karamikos as a Grand Duchy of the Thyatian Empire, now becoming a kingdom in its own right and sending its forces to fight the Master. It's either its forces protect Thyatis or fight the Master.
Right.
And the party has just spent 3 game months convincing them to side with the fight against the Master.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all for them becoming a kingdom.
Yeah.
So embarrassing the ambassador by sending a congratulations to the Duke.
It's just amusing.
And that's why he's doing it, because he's into amusement, yes.
Okay, is there anything else you would like to add in here before we close it up for the night and say you have successfully gotten the intel you need to attempt a run against Honor Island?
I think
Calcrix would like to start with a short scene. It is morning. Her and Eep walk up to the front of the Thyatian
dear.
Ambassador with an offer of coffee. Close scene. She just wants to meet him. face to face.
That's fair.
Does she meet him as a dragon or as a elf? Considering the desire of him to capture Calcrix and use her as leverage to force the dragons to fight on their side.
Good luck to capturing Calcrix, but that being said, she'll start off representing the White Dragons coffee franchise with coffee that the Thyatians might be interested in trading in.
Yes.
And she will make a judgment of his character from that.
Well, he will more than happy draw up to the visas for your members to be able to go into the Thyatian territory safely.
We will happily
Allegedly
post.
safely.
We will happily post our things, but mostly she just wants to have a breakfast meeting with him and present,
I thought you'd
An
like the way
eyeball,
he
so to
starts off.
speak.
present different coffees to him.
Okay, how about you, Jeremy? Would you like to add anything to it?
No, that's right. It's just the, that's right, where the looks like the guy can finish up doing all the copy they need to do.
Yeah.
He'll make certain they get away on their way type stuff. Then he'll quietly remove the wedges on the door so it can open again, and then scoot back down the passageway up the well. When we get back and he passes on the information about what he overheard from the Ambassador's conference call, obviously they can go through, and presumably when the others then tell him about the sort of data they saw and the sort of modifications they are potentially doing and things, he will question the idea of, so you've just discovered that this country is effectively holding off the main force of Alphasia, who, noting Jack Nimmer does not know about the threat that Alphasia causes to the known world, by the fact that, or aside from the fact that yes, they want to destroy the known world, but he has no indication as to why, because he doesn't know the gods.
Yeah.
Dilemmas.
Yet.
So he'll be questioning the idea of apparently the nation of Malaysia is currently defending the lands from the power of Alphasia, and yet you're trying to bankrupt them by forcing additional donations and causing other problems in the world.
Caprice will make note of your observations, because if she gets an opportunity to point that out to the ambassador while they're having coffee, she will.
What happened to the ambassador?
She's going to have coffee with him and
Yes.
talk to him.
Yeah, but
I'm going as a coffee representative.
yeah, but I don't understand what you wanted to talk into it, like what you were going to point out to the ambassador about what modifications you
She
made.
just wants to see him.
She wants
Yeah.
to see what sort of person
I'm-
he is herself.
I'm not actually going to give away that we've seen all of his intel.
No.
No.
I am literally just going in for a perception check.
Yes, Jack was just confused as to the motivations
Well, sorry.
to deliberately bankrupt the Thyatians.
Yeah.
You should be able to gather that they're already bankrupting themselves as it is.
Yes. But considering the fact that yes, they're going to lose the war, even if they put all the natural residents, they're going to lose the war within 3 years. So it doesn't mean we want to speed up the loss of the war.
So you do believe that they may be able to extend it out to 10 years if they're really determined.
Chinese.
And if they're not deliberately bankrupted by other personnel.
That is true.
That's a bit that needs to be somewhat understanding.
Well, you can understand that the Halfling's hatred of the Thyatians is great enough that they will deal with the Alphatians when they come. But if the Alphatians are crippled along the way, that's just icing on their cake.
I've got no problem with the halfling having done it, because he never necessarily questioned the fact the halfling was there anyway. I was curious at the fact that apparently other members of the party decided to jump on the bandwagon of yeah, we're taking donations to these other new towns, and hey, yes, I did.
Which we didn't do.
I was
We were
gonna
talking
say-
about it.
we were mostly joking about
Okay,
it
right.
as an idea, and I was joking about telling the ambassador that they are technically bankrupting themselves as per your observation, because my visit, if I were to reveal any of the information that I've just gotten from underground, would reveal that we've seen all of the information he has underground, and she's not
Yeah.
that stupid.
No,
She's just going in there to get a balance of his character, to see whether he's a person who's genuinely.
It does still beg the question of if the party recognised that deliberately bankrupting Thyatian faster
Jeremy,
was not necessarily a good thing.
Jeremy, it's already been stated. All of that was us joking.
What I'm saying is that you're joking about doing it for your own settlements, but you still allowed Asta to deliberately do it for the rest of the other countries.
Well, I believe Asta's motivation
We
in
have
it
no real
is-
loyalty to Thyatian or Alphasia.
One of the things, Ariadne had a thing to say, and I've got a thing to say.
I was just going to say, I believe Asta's motivation was the fact that Thyatian has enslaved all of the people that they're now paying penalties to, and he believes that the compensation owed to those countries
He's more than they're
is
offering.
more than what they're offering, and so that was his mindset. Calbrix didn't interfere with anything of what Asta was doing, because her main concern, as you pointed out earlier, was copying out everything that's on there that's of relevance to us and our business. She doesn't have time to argue with a halfling who's able to sneak up on them, and probably could get them all caught very quickly, and then erase all of his, preventing him would have caused a delay and disruption and possibly conflict in a situation where we couldn't afford any of those things.
Yeah. The other thing too, if you think about it, the changes in values that this guy's essentially throwing around because of these edits, people in head office are going to look at that and go, no, we're not going to give out that amount of money.
And if this guy has that amount of personal money, then it's only
that's
going to
up to
affect him.
It's only going to
the
affect
rest of it.
it's going to bankrupt him, not his country. It may be an issue, but I don't think it's.
I don't think we're playing.
That much
We're not on that scale.
It's not affect the war scale.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Anywho,
in that case, I shall group in credits and I shall say goodbye to people.